If you're thinking about What you think, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Right. I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right. And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You start thinking about, well, damn, I did this. So, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told don't do that.
The missing.
What you think, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Right. I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right. And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back.
What you think, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Right. I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right. And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You start thinking about, well, damn, I did this. So, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told don't do that.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we were even talking. Why doesn't my father is that a protection for me?
Right.
Or is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
No, but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time they
Right.
are, like absolutely. So if we don't understand that, all we know is the rejection.
You see, like
So
what I understand with my father,
Men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's getting the welfare, or she's out there in the workforce, forced to take care of herself, and if she have children, to take care of the children alone. Whether he's in jail, whether he's dead, whether he's bisexual, whether he's gay, whatever. The black male was removed from the home, and black woman was forced to provide for the children, for herself.
You're missing one other thing that removes black male from the home. That's white women. Because after a while, it was run on black men, white women. Yeah, white women. You know, at one point, black men, they just had to have a white woman. No matter what their social economical status was, white women was the way to go. And so that pulled a lot of black men out of the house.
Damn, I so missed that. I mean, I know Rick James, you know, I know, you know, I mean, you did it. I just didn't think of that as a major absence of the black man. So you
being a provider means so many things.
right.
It means put you in a house. You know, it means I got your back. It means we're doing this together. It means
Right.
I'm not gonna walk away when things get hard. You know, that's providing, right? I'm gonna provide emotional protection so that you can, you know, I'll be present for you when you don't feel like you can be there for yourself or whatever, you know. So there's so much more definition to the thing, right? And even on the flip side, looking at, you know,
Georgia Pudding Pie, what it is.
Man, it's my 5th podcast today. I still got one
Man,
more
I see
after
you've
this
been
one.
all over the place. I thought you was gonna be in late.
Man, no, man. You know I can't be late for this one.
Cause so you've been on child support before, huh?
Never been on child support. Got 2 kids, never been on child
Yeah,
support.
me either. We need some child support people on here. Hey, if y'all have been on child support, if you're currently on child support and you take care of your kids, tag somebody. We trying to see what's going on here. We need some feedback on why these good men, good fathers, baby daddies that's there for their children, that's keeping the money, you know what I'm saying, keeping you with the money. Why are they on child support? They go to the recitals. You know, anytime you call them, hey, Junior need this, he need that. Why are you on child support?
It's a lot of different reasons too.
Y'all know anybody that's on child support, go ahead and tag them. I just need 1 or 2 people to come on here and explain. And any ladies, if it's some ladies out there, I want to know why. And even if you don't have nobody on there, why your peers, your sisters, the people you know, why are they putting men that's physically there in their children's lives Why are they on child support?
Yeah,
That's
basically,
that's the main thing.
if the father is present and active, why can't y'all work that out on y'all own without the court in your business, without the system in your business?
Well, I think it's more, and everything on here is personal opinion.
Right.
I never had the government child support thing. That's, but I know family members and co-workers that have been in that system.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of the reason that they don't work it out one-on-one. I think that woman is trying to secure stability. She's
Right.
trying to secure that check's coming in, because she may
Right.
know that guy, he may lose his job, or he
Right.
may get somebody else and stop contributing, and they don't want to go through that. So they say, hey, let's just go to the court system, and I'm gonna put you on child support. A lot of them do it. I've been around females that does the child support thing to hurt the guy because they broke up.
Right.
And a lot of times it be that guy who's crazy about that child. Let's just say the child was born. They were together a year and a half, 2 years after the child was born.
Right.
And then they break up. Not being biased, but the cases I know, let's just say the woman go out and she messed with a boyfriend or whatever. She the one in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then that guy's ready to move on. He done made up his mind. He packs his stuff. He leaves. Well, you ain't gonna see the child. So, and if you leave, I'm put you on child support. I've seen that
Yeah.
case.
And I've seen fathers
So
put themselves on child
I
support.
think a lot of times it's to get at the guy.
Right. But I've seen a lot of fathers go ahead and say, you know what, she gonna put me on child support anyway. Let me go down there and just get on child support. It is what it is, and gonna be through with it. That way I ain't got to fool with her.
Yeah. When a lot of guys see it's gonna be a problem, they do voluntarily go and put themselves on. Maybe 3% do that, 3 to 5 maybe. But the only thing about that, and I don't know a case, but I've heard back in the day, you can go up there and both of you all sign papers and agree to be taken off child support whenever.
You can.
But I think today, if you do that and she's getting assistance from the government,
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say that
government will
was
pick that case back up, and then you'll
right.
really be on child
Yeah,
support.
and I was
So
gonna bring that up. That's how a lot of good fathers end up on child support. If the mother's getting any kind of aid, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, something like that, the state is gonna go back and put you on child support.
yeah, and that's the sad part about it. You want to do right, but then the government want to step in. You know what I'm saying?
But
So
you know what? You know what'll stop a lot of that? I just brought this up on the podcast I was on, and please go listen to that later. It's interesting. Uh, Paternity fraud. That's why we gotta have these mandatory paternity tests, because you got good men on child support for a child that's not even theirs.
yeah, uh, Austin has sent me Michigan law. So we talked about the Michigan law, and I got some videos on that. But yeah, that is a growing thing now, because with women exploring their sexuality per se, their sexual freedom. So bottom line, women out there hoeing more now freely, and they're laying down with randoms. They meet a guy today and today Wednesday, and they sexing him over the weekend because they didn't got drunk and high, and they're having unprotected sex and with multiple guys where they really don't know who the father is,
Right.
and they're gonna pin it on. Usually, they'll pin it on the one that's more successful, the one that has a decent job, the one whose family lives in a nice house or
Or the
have good
simp.
jobs.
Or the
drive
simp.
nice cars, the more popular guy.
Yeah.
And if it's not the more popular, the more financially stable guy, that's who they want to pin it on.
Or they husband.
Yep. Or they
So,
husband. That's right. Or they husband. Austin got that.
oh yeah, hell yeah. It's gonna be the husband. Man,
And
that's a
it's gonna be
sad
his.
case.
It's gonna be his
I don't even
regardless.
like talking about that, man.
It's gonna be the husband's regardless because
That's
you're
right.
married.
And you know what? And I just read that. I was reading that some of the literature, and that's awesome. Hey, what up, Austin? Hey, welcome to the stage. Speak on the podcast, 2K25, doing what it do every Wednesday night. Starts at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we come on here around 8:15, 8:30, somewhere up in there, and we tackle these topics. Yeah, I was just reading and looking at some of the literature and videos that Austin sent, and it led me to read that, and that's here in Georgia too, that if you're married and a woman goes off and get pregnant by somebody else, and this is married, separated, you're still married, you're not divorced.
That's right.
That you are responsible for that damn child.
You the daddy. Your name going on the birth certificate.
Hey,
Your name is going on.
Wow.
But here's the gotcha. Even if you're a woman married to a woman, then your whichever one gets pregnant by a man, then the woman is still on the hook as the father.
Wow. Woo, shit.
Yep.
Pappy.
I ain't know that one. Kirkland to the stage. Welcome, Kirkland. What you got going on?
I be the
Kirk,
pappy.
make them hurt.
I be the pappy.
Mm-mm.
How y'all
Man,
doing?
I need to turn. I'm probably gonna get Austin or George to take over. I got to get my volume right. I can't really hear you guys. But yeah, if you marry and she come home pregnant by somebody else, man, and she had that baby and you guys are still married, the government can put you on child support, dog.
Yep.
The government said they want that baby in a stable home. They don't give a damn who the daddy.
Oh, they don't. They don't. But see, that's why I keep saying we need to have this law passed where it's mandatory paternity test for every child born, because it'll cut off on a whole lot of stuff. And you make sure that a guy that's basically been a victim in this situation ain't paying child support to a child 18, 19, 20 and can't get none of his money back.
Well,
And it's so many women lately in the last 3 years that's not knowing who the baby daddy is. I mean, it's been going on, but these are guys who stepping up, trying to be there, and then 3-5 years later, they find out the kid isn't theirs.
How about 33 years later?
Yeah, 33 years, exactly.
What do you do? I mean,
What
now, if you married to that woman, you find out the kid ain't yours, that's more understandable. But what about the one-night standers? The guys who just was out there doing what it do, or the ones who ended up on the child support, not paying the child support, going to jail, doing 2 to 3 years or whatever, got a criminal record now, and then you find out the child isn't yours. That's where it's an issue.
Right. And I guess one thing we got to say, tell the brothers too, don't be in there shooting the club up, bro.
Yeah, I mean, part of that's your fault for not being responsible.
Right.
Yeah, but I know people right now today, that woman don't want that condom, bro. And them guys,
well, it's if you choose to go ahead and
that's on you.
Oblige that, then that's
there's a lot of them doing it.
They can't complain.
Either so. I know she don't want that condom, but do you want that baby or the consequences that follow thereafter?
Or do you want to have to deal with her the rest of their child life?
I mean, we were not like that when we were younger, too. But the people out there now, with sex being, you can touch a female right now and then go behind a building and screw her brains out. they just thinking that there's more people thinking for the moment. And I mean, I know somebody right now is backing baby after baby with these one night standers, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then with all, and see, we were more cautious too about the diseases that were out there. We wasn't really trying to get in that cesspool of you got trichomonia, you catching syphilis. So we were kind of selective, you know. But now it doesn't. They don't care. They act like, and it is the nastiest society ever. But they act like it's nothing. They just they jumping out there. Willingly, they got diseases out there now that we never heard of.
Yeah.
We knew about the syphilis because we said we were scared to get that because they said you go blind.
Right.
We didn't want gonorrhea. They talked about you on that. You know, things we just didn't care to get. But now they don't give a shit. They raw dog it, and they creating all these babies.
But you know what men really need to be thinking about, instead of being selective just purely on the basis of the diseases. Look at the fact that if I get this woman pregnant, do I want to deal with her for 20, 25 years? No,
A lot of them think they do.
Yeah, rest of your life. But I'm saying, as far as being on that paper,
a lot of them think they do because it's at the heat of the moment.
Right.
But I start thinking about that guy who's in college, that guy who's entering the service, the armed service, the armed forces, the guy with a future ahead of him, hooking up with, but like Austin say, but he's hooking up with, let's say, this thought who, I don't want you to use a condom. I know we didn't really care about what your family think, but just imagine if this guy is grounded to his family and he has to go home and tell his folks that he has this slut pregnant, and they had higher standards for him.
Right.
I look at things like that too. That's why, I was very kind of selective, with who I messed with during high school and early years of college, because I knew my people held me on a higher pedestal. So I just wasn't gonna go, and let's just say I know this slut. She used the term, this loose woman, and this loose college chick. If I was gonna mess with her, I knew to strap up, because I couldn't take her around my folks. And the term that Pops used was, "Don't bring home no mud ducks." Okay, so whoever I brought home, they was like, "Man, how you keep getting all these nice looking women or whatever, these smart women with good heads on their shoulder," because I knew that's what they like. And I know a guy that was there at a party, we was playing bullshit. He got drunk. They messed around. A condom was there. Now, whether he put the condom on or not, I don't know. Whether they did several rounds and he didn't have, in one of the rounds he didn't have a condom. But anyway, she ended up pregnant, a hood rat, and the parents was disappointed. He ended up having.
Hello?
Yeah, I think he dropped off for a second.
Yeah,
I thought that was me.
No, but at the end of the day, though, if you playing with mud ducks, why you playing in the mud? You know what I'm saying? You have to be very careful, especially if you're a young man with any prospects in the future, that you getting set up for the okie doke. You just cannot shoot the club up raw and think you're gonna get away with it. It's just not gonna happen. Not nowadays, anyway.
It's a dude had 15 kids by 11 different women. So there are some irresponsible people out there, irresponsible men just as well as irresponsible women.
Exactly. It
But
takes two.
women are acting like men now.
Yeah, they are. They
Women,
Hey,
trying.
women
you know what? It's just more open now. They have been acting like that.
That's right.
well, well, well. For a long time, women dealt with trying to be. I ain't saying they didn't mess around, but not in these numbers that they doing so now.
But see, now it's fashionable. Now it's
Right.
accepted.
And that's the thing I'm saying. Now you got you got all of these platforms that push sexuality. Women can do what they want. Don't slut
Hey,
shame.
we need to
Uh,
Right.
send it here.
don't do this.
I
Don't do
just
that.
noticed that.
Right.
And so now, just like all of the different genders are acceptable, like it might bother older people, but it don't bother young people. That's
Nah.
the era that they're
That we
growing up
live
in.
in.
So they
Right.
find a lot of things acceptable. It's just I always associated with like the old the old Star Trek when he used to travel to different worlds and you see all these different creatures in one bar and everybody getting along. The world is evolving in such a way now that a lot of the norms that a lot of the morality that we practice that our parents and our grandparents tried to teach us, a lot of that stuff they consider, oh, you just old, you just think old fashioned. Those ways don't fit our society, and it's just not the case. They don't understand that those same principles that
Hey,
were so important so many years ago, they still just as important right today.
were they really? Because what's the oldest profession in the books?
Prostitution.
Exactly. So you know how many women out here had to give up their stuff just to make ends meet?
Absolutely.
Because that's all they had. That's
Yeah.
Right.
the only means to money that they had. The only means to survival that they had. I know some women that had never had a job. All they did was
Sleep around.
prostitute
Yeah.
or sleep around until they was able to get Social Security. So you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it is that's the thing. It ain't no thing, man. So
Right.
so
It ain't
so
nothing new
so
under the sun.
so what you have to do now is teach young and
Right. Right.
and continue to make that the message. It has to remain in the front line. It
Right.
can't you can't wait till they're 17 and 18 years old to start pushing it. You got
Mm-mm.
to teach them very, very young. When you start allowing
Okay.
them to
All right. I don't know
realize,
what the internet tripping. We got a storm down here.
right, you have to, and like I told my sons when I was coming
Do
up,
his whole.
we didn't have closed doors. You couldn't shut no door, lock no door.
No.
Everything that I ever got away with was behind a closed locked door. So you got to remove the chances that they it ain't that you don't trust, but trust has to be something that's earned. You show me the type of behavior that's trustworthy, then I can start depending on you and put more responsibility on you to
Right.
show and prove to me that you're trustworthy.
Right.
And it starts very, very young.
Well, Kirk, it's like you said, you used the word teach. I'm gonna use another word to piggyback on what you said, instill. We need to instill some things in our young people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. And see,
It has,
you can't be out there swinging from the chandeliers and thinking your kid not gonna notice and emulate your behavior as well.
yes, it has to be the mission, man.
Right, right,
And it has to be consistently, you know, affirmed. You got to constantly show that, hey, the same principles that I'm teaching you are the same principles that I live by.
that's right.
That's the standard. The standard isn't going to change just because the time has changed. And that's
So
that's the thing. People think, well, oh, it's just a different time now, so that give me a pass. No, the fuck it don't. You don't get.
Mm-mm.
I got an opportunity to see some brilliant child management when I was in Arkansas this past weekend. And I went to visit my son, man. And I just got to see how he manages life and how he manages boys' life. And man, it was just heartwarming just to see him 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 and his wife the way that they manage the boys, man. And it was just a pleasure, man,
Right.
to see such a solid family. They both committed. They both have principles and standards, and so they put the child in the best opportunity to succeed.
Right.
And that's all you can do. You can't. There are no guarantees
No.
because. But if you instill those values and principles early enough, even if they fall off for whatever reason, they'll have some place they can reach back and remember how things were and how things should be and
That's
can.
right.
But if you don't give them that, they'll just grab whatever they gravitate to, and that'll be their standard. That'll be their teachings.
Let
So
me
you
let me
just
ask you this, Kurt. Let me ask you this about the guy that I was speaking with, and we want to welcome AJ to
Hey,
oh,
AJ.
AJ,
the panel.
Hey, I got a house full of people always. But hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Tell
We
me, tell me,
good.
he said,
I
what's
know
up?
you had to see. I know you had to see your boys.
Hey,
Yeah, I was late, but I'm right on time.
God, AJ, she late, but she on time, y'all.
Well,
But go ahead,
I hope that don't mean you broke.
go
But
ahead with your question. Go ahead with your question, Dick.
my question is this: is that the guy that I was telling you about? He was second semester of school. Got drunk, got this random hood rat pregnant. Um, Ended up having to drop out of school because he started working because he wanted to be there for the child. You know, he was raised good home. Parents had money. You know, they was upper middle class, and he had a future. But he let that go to work and provide. And he later found out, maybe 3, 4 years later, that that child wasn't his. How does a parent that's paying for tuition, um, I know you want to embrace your child and you love the child, but that was a mistake he made.
Right.
So do you embrace that child or do you let that child know that that you made a mistake?
I say let the child know. Let the child know and figure. And the man has to figure out if he can still deal with that or not. Because what you won't want to have is a man attached to a child and staying in the child's life, but that aggression, that hurt is coming out on the child or on the mother. So sometimes it's better, as much as it may hurt, is to walk away. So that way you don't do more harm to that family.
And the guy ended up having to leave the girl. He left school. You know, it was just a dead end situation. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of, I think he didn't bounce back, but it never was the same. His goal,
Right.
his drive, his ambition. I think he was in school to be an engineer or something. And he was, at the time, he was top of the class. And he was working the little part-time jobs here and there. And then it turned, once the baby came, he started working full-time and it was messing with his school. So he ended up withdrawing from school. We didn't see him for a while. And then when we did touch bases with him, he had dropped out of school.
So let me say
Uh,
this.
Hey, hey, well, he should have stayed top of the class instead of trying to get in that ass.
Let,
Right,
let,
right.
let me say this, D.
see what I'm saying? I also don't give a damn. Okay.
Let me say this. Unfortunately, we live in a world that sometimes you 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 practice things that get you caught up.
Uh-huh.
And we like to say that a lot of mistakes that we made, we can get away with it. Well, sometimes that's just not the case. Lynn Byers had already signed a contract to play for the Boston Celtics. On a celebration night, somebody said, "Hey, try this," and one time, and they end up killing him. And so it's unfortunate that he decided to have sex during this situation instead of getting to know the person that he was laying down with. It got intimately involved with him and it caught up with him. How many times have we done had sex with somebody like, man, I hope I didn't get that bitch pregnant?
Not me.
Right, right.
I
Not
mean,
me.
it doesn't happen. And
Right,
a lot
right.
of times we got away with it. You know what I'm saying? Or I give you one, sometime we done slept with a person 2 or 3 times. And now we feel comfortable in raw dogging it. And then at the end of the month, you hoping she have a period. So you if you ain't gonna be willing to pay the price,
Don't roll the dice.
don't roll the dice, man,
Mhm.
because it could
Okay,
go.
so as a parent, how do you embrace that? Since you talking about, how everything and like you say, anything can happen. So he threw away his career,
Well, well,
and
well. I already told you my story, and I've raised Cassidy since she was a baby, and under the guise that she was my biological child. Now, as I could have went, I could have went like loco, but I'm not finna go to jail under no circumstances. Period.
Uh-huh.
I can't do jail. Period. So I got so much love for the child because I've raised her, and we still, she said, "I don't know nobody else. I'm not even interested in knowing nobody else. So you, my father." So that's the mate that I chose to be with, man.
Right,
Her mama is who she is, bro.
right, right,
I have to listen. I have to be honest with myself and say, "Hey, there's always signs of who you're dealing with.
right.
There's always signs, man." So when you realize that, maybe I should have been one, even though I was married. Maybe I should have been the one putting on the condom.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you just have to be honest with situations, man. And no man wants to feel like he need to wear a condom with his wife. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But when you see a spade, call it a spade. Don't call it something else. It's not a club. It's not a diamond. And so a lot of times we get caught in the emotions of things and we don't deal with the situation for what it truly is. Then once we get out of it, like you'd be like, man, I know better than that.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
better.
That's right.
And so it's just each situation, D, you gotta take it for what it's worth, because every young person that I've met and had some type of impact in their life, I didn't necessarily had to be biologically attached to them.
Hmm.
But that don't mean that I didn't place value in their life. I got something that perhaps can help them in their journey through this thing called life. This
Hmm.
thing called life is the most challenging thing
especially
that
now.
Right,
we'll ever face, man.
Right.
right.
And so we all have to be teachers, no matter whether it's biologically, whether it's just a stepfather, whether it's a even
Mentor,
huh,
mentor.
even if it's a
Yeah,
mentor,
yeah,
whatever kid, we have to reach back, or we'll just keep having the same conversations. We have to start seeing something different so that we'll have hope, man.
Okay,
yeah.
let me ask you this. How do you feel about, and I know how hands-on you are with your children. How do you feel about a mother putting a man on child support that's in their children's lives?
It depends on why. It depends on why. Cause I know, like I said, I know a lot of men that are good fathers. I've known some that get along with the mother, but they still choose to be on child support. Just to, I guess what they tell me, they just want to keep it straight. They just want to know, hey, this on paper, this what it is, that's what's up. Those instances are a little bit different. Now I can't really say because I've never been on child support. But another issue, as far as good men being on child support, is them not having any discretion over where those funds are spent. That's a lot. That's a big problem. You know,
Absolutely.
and you have to honestly think every time you touch a woman, what if I get her pregnant? What is this gonna be like? What might happen. You got to look at the symptoms of the woman too and see what's going on. Does she seem like she's loose? Does she seem like she's a good mother? You have to look at all those things with a sense of discernment before you just go ahead and just, like I said, shoot the club up, bro. It does not work like that, because when
Because
you get
who you
yourself in that situation, you can't say, oh, I made a mistake. No, you didn't make no mistake. You knew what you was doing.
because in reality, D, who you trying to punish, the woman or the child?
Right.
So if you just say that you could stand the child support, and the mother's working hard too, and she's trying to take care of the child, and she's already barely making ends meet, and then you decide to take your $700 or $800 away from the mom. So not only is you might like, well, go out to the dude that you had the baby for. Well,
Right.
he didn't never step up, so it ain't like he finna sign on to that program.
Right.
So you have to weigh, man. You have to weigh it, man. Cause just what if? See, we never know who gonna step in for us as we get older.
That's right.
Just what if one day that child become a somebody, and the reason they became a somebody is because you had an impact in their life that they probably would not have had.
Hmm.
Right.
You have to quit looking at what you're doing if that's who you are. Like I don't like, if I'm gonna always be Kirk 100%. And if I do something knowingly, it's because I choose to do it.
That's
If
right.
you abuse that, then that's something you're gonna have to pay for at one point in your life. I don't know when, I don't know how,
Okay.
but
Now,
that
now I see what
but
you're saying. If the parent working and uh, she's doing all she can to make ends meet, those are your kids. But what about the one who not really trying to work, trying to hang out, go to the club, or if not the club, I'm gonna say trying to keep up with the Joneses, about with the latest cars and
right,
latest fashion,
right.
and she wants you on child support, but yet anytime the kids need anything, they call you and you make sure it happens. Whether
But
it's I need cap and gown, whether it's we're going to New York,
Well,
whatever,
well,
you're there.
well this
And
this
that
is when
woman
you have
still
a
wants to put you on child support to continue to live the
but
lifestyle that he wants to
but you
live.
probably knew, say, you probably had signs of that before you did what you did. It's not
well,
like it's
well,
not like all of a sudden you look up and she just fantastic or nothing. I mean, you had signs that may be why you got with her in the first place. So I mean, you can't do that. You put yourself in a position at that point.
well, D, I will say this. I know a lot of times, a lot of courts are going to side with a woman. But at this point in the game, this is when you're willing to take it to court and you're willing to explain your side of the story. And
Right.
you're willing to tell the judge, listen, I'm willing to do for the child. Even though the child, if the fraternity say the child is not mine, I could afford to do for the child. But
Yeah.
what I don't want to do is the money go through her. The money got to go through the child.
Right.
Uh, However we can regulate that, then I'm fine with it. But you got to come to some type of consensus, whether that money is put in a trust or whatever. You just tell the judge that I can't let this woman just go freelance with the money if she's not going to do the right thing by the child. Because judges are not insensitive to different situations if you explain it. Now, if you go up in there talking about what I'm not going to do, then they're going to take offense to that.
Right.
So you just have to explain. And a lot of times I've been in situations where I've had to go to court, man, and people tell me what a judge ain't gonna do, this, that, and all the other, and I've got just the opposite reaction by explaining my situation.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? A lot of the problem is too. We as men don't know our rights as fathers.
That's true.
We go into court scared. We go into court unprepared. We go into court just assuming the mother's gonna get custody. The mother's gonna get all the child support. Well, I'm seeing more and more women having to pay child support now.
Absolutely.
You know, I see more and more men getting custody of they kids like me and D. You know what I'm saying? That's happening more and more. But as far as having any discretion, as far as what she spends her money on, you need to think about that for you go ahead and mess with her. Because I've
Yeah.
never been on child support. My ex-wife, I give my ex-wife money for our son. If she going to have to get something for herself, it don't bother me because I know her character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can't get with a woman without knowing her character, without knowing she got some integrity, and be mad when when you come up with what you come up with.
There you go. Because
Yeah.
some people, man, if they wasn't shit when you got with them, they ain't gonna all of a sudden be shit because you with them.
Mhm. And just because a woman can bear a child, that doesn't make her a mother.
Oh no, by no means.
Mm-mm. So we had to be careful. You had to be selective. When you lay down with that woman, you got to think if hell freezes over and I get her pregnant, man, what is this gonna be like? What is she showing me now as far as what's this gonna be like for me? And sometimes you might have to make a decision instead of raw dogging or whatever. Just go home, pick you another.
Pick this one out.
Today, listen, hear me out. Only the good fathers get child support. Today, listen, hear me out. Only the good fathers get child support. All the bad ones go years without it. All the bad ones go years without it.
They got enough game to not get it.
No, it ain't even game. It's the fathers that want to see their kids is the ones that get the struggle button. Oh,
yeah, because they know that because
they know that's how you hurt
petty,
that
and
man.
they know that's how you gonna hurt that nigga.
And the ones that don't care, you the one. So you're not gonna come see your son. You're not gonna. So why
you gonna try to get him another way?
You know what I'm saying?
Because you know he don't give a.
Shout out to the Crossing Minds podcast because he's on point with this one. You're going to pay because you care. Now, the guy who doesn't care, she can't play those games with him. She can scream child support all you want. He don't have a job. She can't even send him papers because they don't even know where he lives. That's why it doesn't work on them. So a good man with a good job or a business, that's the man. He's an easy lick. All women don't do this. This is just those women out there who like to use the system for stuff like this. And it really sucks because the child is the one that normally pays in this situation. To a lot of these women, it's a game. They keep the kids away from their man, moving to different states, making him chase her. There are some great mothers out there who would never do this stuff. But for the women out there who play these type of games, they do stuff like that because they know you're a good father and you care. So this is why the good man normally gets hit the worst when he's dealing with a certain type of woman. This is why, fellas, you gotta be careful about the type of woman you lay down with, because if you mess around and get one of them, all I can tell you is good luck.
That's just facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I just was fortunate not to have to be on there, but I hear the power stories from family members, and they're saying, it used to be a time when men would go to court with receipts, a box full of receipts, showing everything they did. And they say that don't matter. That don't matter in a lot of cases today.
No.
So it's like, and it's getting worse. These women, and like I say, now it's not just that she's pregnant and you're on child support. Now she's pregnant, you on child support, and you don't know if the child is yours.
Yeah.
That's what it is now. That's the that's the thing now. You don't know. You know, and then I'm a firm believer of taking that DNA test before you sign that birth certificate. And a lot of them not doing that. And this is what she was explaining. Keep this one out.
Don't sign the birth certificate unless you know. Okay, dads, I've been telling you guys, don't sign the birth certificate unless you know. If you sign the birth certificate, sometimes you may also have acknowledged paternity, which means you are taking responsibility for the child. And if you have done that, you can't just take it back once you get that DNA test and you find out that you are not the dad. You have a 60-day grace period to get it together. 60 days. After the 60 days expire, you cannot take your name off that birth certificate and disestablish paternity. You would have to file a petition and you would have to prove that you signed under fraud, duress, or a mistake. That's crazy, but that's why I tell you guys, make sure you know before you sign, because as quick as you signed, that's not going to be how easy it is to get your name off that birth certificate. So like I said earlier, know before you sign. Dads, I got your back. Let that man see them kids, but also let's make sure that that man is actually the daddy.
You know,
And
Jerry Springer had a show about this shit many, many years ago.
Right.
Well,
Maury.
it's just sad that we having these normal conversations about these damn women saying these kids belong to this certain man and it's not his child. I mean, what does that say about her character, or do you think she really just don't know because she laying down with so many random Joes?
A lot of times
I ain't never understood that. I don't know. I don't see how that's something you don't know.
They know.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. I know a lot of them that laid down that was having sex 3, 4, 5. And then that was back then. So just imagine how many women laying down with different guys now, and they all want them raw because they don't want the condom. Some of them say they're allergic to the stuff that's on the condom.
Yeah, the latex.
Yeah.
Dude, this app's not to link you up in your neighborhood. They link you up. They link you up with people right in your neighborhood. Oh, you could just link up with somebody. Oh, they 2 mile radius, 1 block radius, 5 block radius. Make it too easy, man.
Yeah.
So it ain't nothing, man. Like I say, man, I had a girl. I used to just put on a jogging suit, put my hoodie on, and just take a run out the front door, and in 5 minutes I'm in a house. And you never saw me go in and out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that convenient.
Right.
And so man, you just right now it doesn't. You
it's
can
3 times worse now, Kurt.
Yes, you can just practice being smart, or you can pay for a lifetime. Your choice.
Well, that's the thing. They doing these things and not taking the responsibility.
Yeah. You know, and it's sad, man.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that really bothers me, and I think about it almost, a lot, because these guys thinking these children are theirs, and they end up not. And just imagine if it's a guy who wanted kids.
Yeah.
And he wasted 3, 4, 5 years in a relationship that he probably wasn't happy in because of the child, when he could have been with somebody else, making a family, creating a family, building a family. That's what
he created a family. It just wasn't his biological.
Mm-hmm. Boy, you stupid.
$8,000 a month, and you don't give your son any money.
$100. That's not. I give.
$100, and you think $100? You think $100 is sufficient?
It was at the time. I made it.
How much money were you making at the time?
I was working drive-through at McDonald's at the time, so I wasn't making that much.
Okay, so I'll ask the question again. How much were you making at the time?
About $350, $500 a week at that time.
Okay, you didn't want to be here today, did you?
At all.
Okay.
Didn't have one of them.
Right, but I understand your frustration with them, but don't come in here and waste my time. I haven't done anything to you. You'd agree with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so $8,000 a month. You have 3 kids total. Okay, and you said 200 for football.
I said 500.
No, you said 200 for football.
And then I have to buy equipment, so I need 500.
Okay, so is what you need or what you looked up?
Son needs 500.
500. What about basketball?
Basketball probably about 300.
Okay. So that's $800, right?
Yes. I think I'm gonna put him in karate too.
She going too far, Nate.
You know what? You just came here to waste my time. So
I just want my son to be in everything. I just want him to be
great. It sounds like you want to tell me you want to put him in everything so you can get more money off of this man. And I'm sorry, I'm not here to play in your little petty games.
Sure,
and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So you know what I'm going to do? Since you came here to waste my time, I'm going to make sure I don't waste any more of yours. I'm denying your request and dismissing this case.
Really?
Really, I am. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe this.
Well, I can't believe you came in here to play these games.
My son needs some money.
No, it sounds like you want the money, ma'am. Is there anything further?
You know what? I'm over it.
Okay.
I'm making my
money.
I'm
over it too. Did you need anything else, sir?
No, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
I see a lot of that too.
She got just what she's supposed to get.
Yeah.
These judges ain't playing, and that was in 2023. So it back in the day, the judges was more on the woman's side, as Kurt stated earlier. Yeah, they was more on the woman's side, and you got an attitude because that woman didn't mind granting that other woman the child. So giving them all the rights. But it's shifted now. As George said, it's shifted now. All right, we got Curtis on the stage. What's happening, Curtis? What's happening, Richard?
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm sorry, I had a lot going on. I'm just getting back in right now. George was telling me you guys had a subject going on. Hope everybody's doing fine.
Yes, sir. Doing good. Doing good. Glad to have you on the Speak on It podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about the subject matter you guys are having right now. Boy, that is a tough scenario when it comes to parenting and co-parenting at its fullest. It's a slippery slope. It's a double coin. It's even a double standard when it comes to areas like this. All I can tell you on my end of the bargain is, if you're there for the child, that's a blessing in itself. But sometimes people could get cunning. There are women that could be cunning with the men when it comes to financial support, and it could be cunning with the men as well, or with the women. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like a double standard in the coin sense. But all I can tell you is if that child needs sufficient support and help in all adequacies, then it's very good for both parents. And that's the thing. Both parents has to be there. We know courts, not good. We know there's some bylaws that ain't even fair. As a matter of fact, I think Donald Trump is trying to come up with a way now that's trying to eliminate welfare in general. I think back in 1993, George, I'm about to say George Clinton, President Clinton made a welfare to work program so these women can not, lay up and make these babies and try to use the support system to get around with them and make them work. I don't know whatever happened to that. It might have just got eradicated. But I think what Trump is doing right now is to cut and budget some. So then the Section 8 could be eradicated. So then now it's more so of, and it could just be smoke and mirrors. We don't know. It could be true. It could be not. But what they're trying to do now is to depreciate some of the money that we're paying on when it comes to Section 8 and support and stuff like that, so they can actually make these people, whether it's women or men, to go back to work.
Yeah,
So
because
they
basically,
the systems with that,
basically what Trump is trying to do, if you able-bodied and you're not
Right.
on disability, you can be
Mhm.
on Section 8 for 2 years. That's it.
Yeah,
They
that's it.
starting a law with the food stamps where you can't go in there and buy Kool-Aid, jammers, and chips and cookies no more.
Right. Right. And yeah, and yeah, and I mean, and to go with the fact that with you guys, I heard a little bit with you, Silas, who's coming in, but you know, all I can say is, and one of y'all made a good point about the child is looking at everything a father is doing, and success will only become predicated on the fact that that child is following suit when it comes to the love and the respect of what that father is doing. Like I said, there are some cunning ass women out there. Let me just say this, and no offense against the lady that's listening to us right now, but there are women that are shaking their asses on social media all the time, TikTok videos, shaking the booties and all this
That's
other
what
stuff.
she be doing. The lady that's on here, she do
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, I mean, to each his own. Do what you got to do. I don't care about that. But quit trying to like try to yeah put us to the point that we want to get involved into the go into the DMs. Hey, we want to holler at you and see what's going on, and then things happen because the dating sites right now it's so easy to get involved with right now. Now you can pick up anybody. Back in the 80s and 90s, it was bad for traditional purposes, but now anybody can get anybody. And you just got to be careful. You really have to. Now, when it comes to laying up with somebody without any responsibilities for anything like that, now when you have that responsibility, that's where fear comes in both parents. And it seems like the women wants to try their best to come up with some sort of plan to try to, I guess, modify or try to emasculate the man just because he's not where he's supposed to be when at the time when they was dating before they did the sexual intercourse. Now the responsibilities there, both parents are scared, they're both afraid. Now it's more so of a factor of who's going to be responsible. If that daddy is there, I can, and listen, nothing against moms, because moms are always going to be there for support and affection and love and the softness. But when that hard discipline is there for that child, for that boy and girl, it's going to go a very, very long way. That's where they're going to learn how to structure themselves, go to school, go to colleges, learn right for wrong. Look, I don't want to date you because you ain't got no condoms. That comes with that daddy saying, look, you don't need to be doing this stuff. And for that to happen, and the courts are not seeing that, it becomes a non-obligatory type thing that these courts are not looking at that. So I get praises for the daddies that are there for the kids. And let me say one more thing too. Step daddies should be heroes. They should be heroes. I'm talking like first responders and like police officers or something because they didn't have to be there for them kids, but they chose to do it. And like that video you mentioned earlier, man, about the big old guy was talking about, they go after these men because they care about those kids. That is so true, man. That is so true about that. So stepdaddy should get sole credits for that, but they don't. They really, really don't because these real
Yeah,
daddies
now.
don't want to be there for them
Now,
kids.
let's be real.
They say
Let's
they
be
sick.
real.
They say
Let's
they
be
sick.
real. Let's be
Mhm.
real.
Yeah.
The men are there because of the women,
Right.
and sometimes they pretend to get along with the child just for the sake of the woman.
That's right.
I don't know. Why would
That's
you
right.
pretend? I guess, like Kurt say, he
Hey,
gonna
some
always
folks.
be Kurt. I'm always be me. And I'm not good at faking.
Okay.
I'm not good at faking. Um, if
They
I
not
don't like a child, like I said on the last podcast, my brother teased me today because I was gonna get involved with a lady, and the only reason I didn't get involved with is I didn't care for her son. And he brings that up every blue moon. He's like, "You gave up on her because you didn't like her son."
and that's the
And
way it should be.
that yeah. So I don't believe in faking it, but I get what you saying. You know what I'm saying? Some guys might fake it, but I'm not a
I
faker.
mean, but they're being who they are because they're chasing the woman. That's it.
Right. That's it.
Well, my firstborn is my stepchild, but I've raised her since she was a newborn. Like I was the first man that ever held her. So
They
so
wouldn't know that.
so and I wouldn't trade those moments for nothing because she's a amazing mom right now. She
So
sat
what men and I want to ask Curtis this too. You think men actually stay in a relationship with a woman and pretend to like her kids just to be with her?
For a while, but you can't keep that up for long. It's gonna wear real thin. If you don't like that child, you're gonna find your way out. Because
That's why I
eventually,
don't get when I
that
don't
child,
like the child, I get out of it.
Yeah, that child is gonna pick up on the
because
fact you
that
don't really
mama
care for
is
them.
going to side with that child.
Right.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
There's a lady right now that's in North Carolina, and no, George is not Anita. It's another lady. It's another lady in North Carolina. This is the scenario that's going on. She has a child. Okay, this child's got a behavior times three. I mean, it's like she's manipulating her anyway. But anyway, the scenario is, and please listen to this very carefully. I know y'all heard the term postpartum depression, right?
Yeah.
What that means is that I guess the this lady had a child but lost the child, and now she had another child, and she's like mentally not the same anymore. And because of that, the daddy of that child, he's the dad of both kids, but the daddy and the mom cannot get along with each other, probably because of this condition. I'm talking about, she hates him so bad that she wants him dead. She said if he was to jump off a cliff, I wouldn't care. I'll slash his throat. It got that bad. But here's the situation. That child is 14 years old right now. And because of that, that child is rampant. She's got an attitude. She's got a problem. She's got issues, whatever, and ever else. And the dad doesn't want anything to do with that child. But the child is in mom's care. Here's the problem. The problem is the child is manipulating the mom. The mom is not fighting back at all. And the mom blames the dad because this child is manipulating. I know it gets convoluted, but here's the reason I'm bringing this point up. Now, let's say a guy like, let's say Curtis comes in the scene, and Curtis is not like the baby daddy. He's trying to become this stepdad of this troubled ass child. The troubled child, I don't give a damn who you are, what you represent. That child's gonna hate you. That child's gonna hate your guts more than ever, because now the child's gonna, coincide with this so-called daddy. Now, the daddy may be spooning her or giving her things that she don't deserve to have. But the mom likes this Curtis guy, but the child doesn't like the Curtis guy. And that's where the conflict comes in when it comes to trying to appease the child. It's not fair in many cases, and sometimes life is not fair. But you got to ask yourself, is it worth the time, or you're wasting your time trying to appease a child for a woman? And now that's where the relationship messes up, because that woman is not putting up a fight with this troubled child. Now, if the stepdad, like myself, comes in to try to help the child, the real dad comes in. That happens on a regular basis when it comes to African Americans doing that. And why am I mentioning stepdaddy in all my conversations? Is because I've been in relationships with kids that daddies went about shit, and I'm always the hero of the kids. And some women even tell me, okay, don't worry about the kids. Worry about me. You're in this relationship with me. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. We can't do that. No. Those kids got to be your priority. Don't put me in the midst like that, because if you're going to disrespect them, you're going to disrespect me as well. So, I mean, I can go on and on about the intricacies of a co-parenting relationship, but the end of the day, if that child is getting kept by mom and dad, whoever the dad is, then yeah, there's some hope. There's some glossing of a hope when it's that.
I can say something to you about
Yeah.
your success.
Right.
And no
Right.
matter what type of woman you've run across, and no matter what kind of problem that child has had,
Right.
you've probably been successful in being able to reach that child simply because of who you are.
Right. Exactly.
Sometimes
Hmm.
you can have such a dynamic personality that no matter who you run across, you're going to have a different impact on it. And you know that you're going to win with this child because of who you are.
Right.
And so
Okay.
I have that same, I've ran across many women that I've been involved with that have children. I've
Hmm.
never had a child, no matter what the struggle is, that she may even tell me that the child is dealing with, that
Okay.
I haven't been able to reach that child.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna listen to that child's situation first of all. And
Okay.
I'm not gonna go in thinking that I'm finna be the child daddy.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in it with building a relationship out of respect with the child first of all. And in most cases, I'm not gonna let the child outsmart me.
Okay,
Absolutely.
let me ask y'all this. What if you a stepfather and the biological father ain't paying child support?
Oh
Well,
wow.
if that's the case, first of all, I don't anything financial. If I give it to you, I don't mind giving it to you. Now,
Right.
if I'm defrauded in some kind of way, that's when I had a problem. But once I offer the help, I don't really have a problem with because I've made a conscious decision to do it. I only
Right.
have a problem with being defrauded when a woman defraud me. I got a real issue with that because
And my
let me
thing
make
on that,
that decision.
my take on that is, if it's somebody I'm seriously involved with, I don't want him involved with in my life at all. So not being on child support and being completely out of the lives, and especially if he's not involved no way, especially when I got with him, he's not involved in the life. I don't want her to put him on child support. Let him do him, and we got this. That's just the type of person
Yeah,
I am.
I said the same thing when I was engaged, and right now I'm looking at about 4-5 years worth of back money I could have got. So yeah, I said
Well,
that
you
at
know
the
what?
time too.
Yeah, but you know what? You gotta be very careful on that particular thing, Mr. Black. There are times that, especially when you're talking about holidays and Christmas and birthdays and stuff, that that child might like, well, when my dad ain't give me nothing, I don't care who Curtis is, I want the real daddy. And B, that daddy may come back and say, well, you know what? I'm not in the system with you. We're gonna move on, but that is my child. That happens. That's real. That can become realistic when it comes to that. So I would love for a dad not to be involved into that child anymore, especially if I'm taking over. But that's on the pretense if the woman allows that to happen. That's all about
Right.
her. It ain't really
And,
about the dad.
and exactly. And so I
Right.
know I got
Yeah.
sense enough to know not to deal with a woman like that. Because my thing is,
Yeah.
if he hadn't been there all this time, I'm in the life now. Ain't no
Don't
sense
come
in coming
stepping
around
up.
now.
Don't come stepping
Don't
up to
don't
the
matter
plate
that,
now.
you can
And
raise
it
that
ain't no
child. You
sense
can
of
raise that child. You can raise that child from 0 to 18. On that child 18th birthday, the dad didn't come around. That child ain't go too much be studying you. They might
Right.
respect you, they might love you, but you ain't daddy.
Right. Right.
right. And
I mean,
that's if he been there
It
at
don't
any
matter.
point.
It don't matter. It don't matter if he been there or not. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I've been through it. It don't matter.
Cause,
He
cause,
But
tried.
like
cause,
I say,
'cause let me
y'all
ask,
in Austin to tell
hey,
you,
hey,
I'm
Black,
an
let me
exception
ask
to
you a
the rule.
question.
Things that happen to other people don't necessarily happen to
Well,
me.
Black,
So
let me ask you a question,
go
D.
ahead.
What happened if when that child get 21, 22, 23 years old, and she be like, well, why you kept me from my daddy? Why wasn't my
Because
daddy allowed in my
it's
life?
not keeping you from your dad. When you turn 13, the same way I did with my son. When you
Right.
turn 13, you have sense enough to know if you want to talk to that person or not. So just because he don't reach out to her and she calling me, why he not? That I ain't got nothing to do with that. And then at 14, 15, 16, if he chooses not to talk to you, that ain't on me because I don't enforce none of that.
Well, you
Do
say
you?
you don't, but you said you don't want him. If you step in,
Right.
you said he can. It's only exclusion. He's no longer can be involved in the child's life at all.
No, I'm saying if I step in, ain't no sense in you coming trying to come around now because I'm in here. Because I know when it's bullshit and I know when it's real.
Yeah.
And when I first met him, I gave him that opportunity. I could take him this, and I even told you that we could meet at McDonald's. We can meet wherever. You can come by the house, pick her up. She'll be outside waiting. All that. He chose not to. So you're
Okay,
not
then
just
that,
gonna
hey,
wait till I
that's
got
that's
everything going, and now
that's
here you
different.
go wanting to step in and try to play dad. I got
But
no problem with it because
that's
of how I was
different.
raised.
But but you know though, he can come in
That's
at any
different,
time
D.
and go to court and be on visitation.
I can,
That's
Anytime.
like
different.
I say, I got no problem with that because at the end of the day, I have how I was raised. I was kind of raised like a military child,
There you
so
go.
I don't attach to people, and I understand nothing lasts forever, and all things come to an end.
See
That's why
what
Right.
I'm
I
saying?
don't.
That's different. That's different because you gave her the opportunity.
Yeah, I gave it
You
an
gave her an
opportunity.
opportunity. Now,
I'm gonna always give opportunities, but
right.
just say if one day she wake up and say, "The hell with you," I'm good because of how I was raised.
Hmm.
I'm not that emotional, tied up. I protect my heart first, and that's in relationships and childships and
Hmm.
family ships, whatever. If mom said, you cut off, go to hell. I'm like, cool, because I take care of myself anyway. It
Right.
doesn't matter to me. So I'm like that at the end of the day. But I go through the regular shit. But at the end of the day, I'm still me, and I ain't never really gave a fuck. So if I, at the end of the day, to make me cope and move on like I have in all my life,
So
I'm that person. So
you
it wouldn't affect me. It'll hit me, but it wouldn't affect me like it'll affect
It's
an
not
average
gonna it's
person
not gonna
who.
devastate you.
Yeah,
You
I
have
wouldn't
the
be devastated.
ability
I'm
to
not gonna lose no
compartmentalize
sleep. I'm
things.
not gonna not eat. I'm just gonna be like, well, she chose to do that, you know.
Yeah, and you're gonna move on with your life.
Move on. Shit. Because like somebody was saying earlier, like I think it was you, Kurt. I'm gonna give what I give and I'm gonna do what I do. And if it's something I don't want to do or something I don't want to give, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna give it. So if I
Exactly.
give her love, I give her knowledge, and I give her a good life, I wanted to do that. And if you don't appreciate that, that's on you. I did what I,
Absolutely.
you know. So I'm cool on that.
Absolutely. You're right. I
Yeah.
understand completely. Cause see, I've been on both sides of the spectrum, man. I've been willing and I've been defrauded. I've been on both ends of it. See? But I'm not gonna stop loving either one of them girls because of who they mama was. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not impacted by the money. If the money had broke me, that's one thing. So I don't give myself. What I'm interested in is helping people become whole, man. And I know what it's like to grow up. I've seen people grow up without their parents or without somebody that give a damn. We got so many young men out there right now, man, that's so twisted because nobody cared enough. And they just out here just doing things, man, behaviors that we didn't do, man. It's just doing things that we just didn't do.
Right.
And that's because there isn't enough good parenting in the world, man. Kids are being self-raised by social media and everything that they attach themselves to everything but what's real.
Hey, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be I'm gonna have a professional term presented you guys real quick. I'm gonna come up with a professional word. Have you ever heard of the term parental alienation syndrome? Parental alienation syndrome. You should know this, George. Parental alienation syndrome. Y'all
I've
never heard
heard
that?
of
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what that means. And this is very, very rampant. That child, let's just say the daddy's nowhere around. The child stays with mom, grandmom, sister, cousin. You already see what's going on here. That's a
yeah,
feminine base to this. They're manipulating that little child to tell the dad he ain't shit.
yes.
And the child believes it. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome in a sense. But what that means is you're telling that child your daddy ain't shit. And this goes back to that narrative that guy was talking about that they go after these men because they care. Well, if the child at 15, 16, that's that pivotal age when they learn about everything. When they're kids, they don't give a damn who you are. They'll go after ice cream. But when you hit 14 and 15, that's where the puberty comes in, they learn. When you
That's
get
true.
manipulated like that so many times, that child, when he turns 18, 19, is gonna say, well, I believe everybody the women there telling me about you. How come you wasn't there for me? Now there's like this traitor, this treason going on. That happens a lot with African American people. That has that a lot. Now you're talking
Absolutely.
about abandonment and all sorts of mental health issues when that child's trying to raise up with that. So that happens, and you have to really blame the mom and the grandma for that because hell, they probably couldn't get a man on their own. So they're gonna manipulate the child to say, well, your dad ain't shit, so there you go. And the child's gonna believe that. But look it up. It's called parental alienation syndrome.
And it's real. It's
Yeah.
very true.
Mm-hmm.
And they get attached to these games because that's what they said. That's the only place I found somebody that gave a damn about me was the brotherhood I met with these gangbangers.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
why a lot of them turn uh lesbian and stuff like that too.
Right. Right. Influence. Influence is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Influence. It ain't social media. Social media is the icing on the cake
Yeah,
because it's more influential because you don't got to go anywhere. Back in our day, we didn't have no social media. We just went outside and met somebody and went along with that. But
right. You,
it's influence at the end of the day.
you
That's what I
admired
think.
them, and you got manipulated by them. You
Yep.
know, it
Yep.
wasn't, but it was somebody that if your parents wanted to look into it, they knew you was hanging with Richard on the from the other street, the street behind the house, or the street.
Exactly. Exactly. You're
You know,
right.
now they DM and find a common interest, whether it's a video game, and then they can get up there and you know, and you can't monitor what your child doing every day. I don't care what nobody say.
Right.
If they want to do something, they can find a way to do it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh
we
yeah.
They
were
can
too
hide it
if
from
we
you just
found a way to do things that we weren't supposed to do too. These
right. But it's
kids
way
want,
easier now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's way easier now.
Well,
So
well,
84% of child support providers are men. We're told that it's in the best interest of our children. While 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes, and 71% of all high school dropouts, 85% of children with behavioral disorders, children of fatherless homes are 68% more likely to abuse drugs, and 4 times more likely to live in poverty. So it doesn't benefit either parent, and it certainly doesn't benefit the children, so who's it helping? Turns out that the powers that be are under contract with all 50 states to enforce Title 4D of the Social Security Act in exchange for federal incentive funds. In other words, states get paid to make men pay. So they benefit from this issue. Neither parent or child does. Women and men are against each other on this issue, but it should be men and women versus them. Stay hungry.
I don't
Believe.
understand what he was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I
crazy.
agree. I believe the child support system was put in place should
Hmm.
be utilized for men that don't want to take care of their participate in at least financially being involved in their kids' life.
But
Right.
do you think that's what
Um,
that okay, that video was saying that they get paid off of that. Do y'all believe that? That's why
yeah,
they enforce it?
they charge you a fee for them being in your business. You know, see, I've had the fortunate position to be in all types of these predicaments y'all been talking about. I had a father who I went and put on child support because I
Somebody
listened
echoing.
to.
Like,
Is that mine too loud?
Yeah, you echo.
probably.
You got it on speaker.
I think she's gone too.
No, she gonna log. She logged out to log back in.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I still hear it. Let me make sure it ain't me. You hear it, Kirk?
Oh, you good?
You don't hear that what you're talking?
No, you good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I hear something. I'm adding you back.
I hear it too.
Yeah, you need to everybody go on mute. Let's see.
Okay.
Mute on your mic. Okay, say something.
Hello.
You hear it, Kirk?
Hold on. I'm trying to press mute.
That sounds like it's a basketball game somewhere.
Or somebody watching the game or something?
Yeah.
Can I get quieting down for a second? So whoever did something, it's better.
Yep. Yeah, my fault. It was me. I think. Yeah, I got the game up too high. Let me turn it down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. OKC is whooping Minnesota's, but
Yeah, they tearing them up.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think they're gonna be
She
out
ain't
the first
playing this
round.
year. They ain't playing this year. So, AJ, you say you've been on both sides. You've been that woman who put a man on child support.
And was like came to my senses enough to go down to the court and tell the court I no longer wanted them to be involved.
Okay, and
I
did
was
the
like
court pick it back
19.
up after you canceled it?
Yeah, they took them out. Took them out of jail when I his grandmama told me to put him on, and I listened. When old people tell me stuff, I was that girl. If they don't, old people told me to do it, I'm gonna do it. But
What
then
you
now I
feel?
realize why his grandmama told me to do it because he begged me to give him another chance, right? And when the issue came and the grandmama got in it, yeah, that when the grandmama cemented for me, yeah, that was my stamp to say, hey, you know what, that is the best decision. Don't
Mhm.
think this was something I took just like slightly or out of spite. It was something I went back and forth with. I went to the elders with. I mean, my grandmama is, my mama had passed on when I was 14. So my grandmama, his parent, his grandmama, and so
How old were you at the
they
time?
talked.
Well, how
We
old
were
time?
18, 19.
Yeah.
Was you
So
still
You know.
thinking?
you were scared anyway. You didn't know what to do, huh, AJ?
But I took him off. And that was the biggest mistake, right? Because I
Did he
ended up
go?
having
You
to go
say he
back
went
and
to
put him
jail?
back on because he didn't keep the agreement. He didn't keep the agreement.
Why you
Matter
just
of
didn't get
fact,
another job and say the
matter
hell
of
with
fact,
it?
he stopped. He went under the radar, baby. He ran away from our hometown. He went dark, right? I didn't hear from him.
Why you just didn't get another job?
Why didn't he just get another job?
You.
Why didn't I just get another job?
Hell
Because
yeah. You,
let me
you
tell
depending
you
on
what I
his
did. When
income.
I was 18 and 19, I did work 2 jobs. I worked in the daytime doing customer service, and then I went and cleaned up at night. And while you speaking of another job, yes, that was my other job. I was a janitor. And I believe that everybody needs to be a janitor at least once in their life so they understand they don't nobody owe you to fucking pick up behind you. But yes, I was a janitor at night. So I worked 2 jobs. I've done what I had to do because, like I said, dude went ghost on me. So I stepped up. It's done. It's a done deal. But guess what? Grandmama came back and said, "Baby, you need to go back and then you need to listen." And you listen. You learned then that I should have listened to them elders the first time.
So did he go to
And then
jail?
you make that mistake.
Did
No,
he
he
go?
didn't go to jail. He ran away.
I don't really agree with going to jail just because they're not paying child support.
I don't agree with that either because I'd rather have the money.
Yeah. If you send them to
I don't
jail,
want
how
you.
the hell they
Don't
gonna
take
find
his
a job?
license. Don't do
Right.
nothing to interfere with him going to work. Cause that
Right.
means going to jail, taking his license. Don't do that. You see. Don't get me wrong. I'm on both sides of the fence. 'Cause I understand the plight of a woman of a deadbeat dad. Then I also had a portion of a dad that didn't mind. Right? He didn't mind. So that's somebody you should have split the child support with when you get it. You see.
Hmm.
So I understand both parts, both sides.
It can. I think it can create a financial incentive for both parents to stay away from each other too. It can be detrimental.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be upfront. It's always faced criticism when it has something to do with the enforcement issue of it and the debt collection. And going back to what that guy was saying on the video, according to Thomas Sowell, if you ever heard of him, the economics guru, and a
Yeah.
couple of these people who talks about conservatism, they're saying that the welfare system is the worst system ever made. I think the president Gerald Ford made it just to enforce with the child support. It's all about. I think it's a historical root in the recovery of welfare, and it's a lack of trust. I believe in low income parents. That's what they're thinking, and it's got to be a complexity. It's like negative consequences for both the parents and the children. They're facing criticism. I mean, the shared parenting is going to be neglect, and I just think the debt collection part, like you were saying, ma'am, about going to jail, it doesn't eradicate anything. It doesn't really make any positive impact. I mean, it exacerbates the tensions between those parents. That's what it does, and the kids know it. If they don't know it, then they will know when I'm going to get my
Because
money from
here's the
whomever.
thing about going to jail part.
Right.
If he don't bond out, you'll get if he bond out, you get that little money. Some of it, because they gonna take their cut, the bond gonna take their cut, and then you'll get what's left. All right. But if he don't bond out and he do his little 30 days, 60 days, he ain't gonna give you shit.
If I'm not mistaken, it goes back to normal. Does it? It goes back to zero. that means he's still gonna owe. I mean, you're right. It
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
solve
gonna owe
nothing.
arrears. He's
Mhm.
gonna owe current and arrears.
Right, right.
That's why
So,
he, so he's to pay when that child is over
so
18.
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't
If he
solve
ever was to
anything.
go get a job on the book.
Right,
And
it doesn't. Mhm.
and he can lose his job going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
Right, no one
That's why
wins.
I don't
No
agree
one
with
gets
that.
paid. Yeah,
Don't
no
do
one gets
nothing
paid.
to
No one.
interfere with my man, my guy going to work. I need my guy, my baby daddy to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they usually take his income tax.
Well, if he going to work and they paying you, what difference does it make?
Oh, they'll take money out of the bank.
Yeah.
Because if he
yeah.
going to work, like he
Mhm.
said, they'll take his income tax. I'll get some of that.
I'm saying, but if he's not going to work and
If
well,
he not
yeah,
going to work, I don't get nothing.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
But
saying. But
but if
here's
he
the
working,
grand thing about that. Here's the grand thing about that. You can only keep up a facade and be taken care of for so long. I mean, you talking about him not going to work. How many? It's 18 years. You gonna go? You got to be taking somebody, woman, somewhere taking well good care of you. If you can go 18 years without ever getting a job on the book, so I say kudos to her, right?
nah,
Matter of
that ain't
fact, you
kudos
should.
to her. That's
It's
like Harvard
kudos
and
to her because that's what she wanted.
that's
She
like
got it.
Harvard and fugitive. That's like
She
Harvard
got
and
it.
the
She
fugitive.
wanted. She got it. She wanted, baby. That's her problem. You hear me? So, but
You
at any
kids these
rate,
days got diseases. I know.
up on it. You
Like you
still
sound
gonna
like
end up on it.
that
You
man.
go and get a job. You go and get a job. That child is 18 and you got arrears. See if they don't start garnishing your check.
Current Michigan law, a man may not be the father, but still owe child support for children who clearly aren't his. But a bill moving through the state legislature is looking to change that. That bill would protect men from being forced to pay for another man's child. State Representative Jim Runstead introduced the bill, and he's here along with Carneal Alexander, the head of Dads by Default and the Carneal Alexander Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
First of all, Carneal, tell us a little bit about your story. You're the victim of this type of procedure and this type of, I want to say mix-up, but it's not a mix-up.
No, it's not a mix-up. It's blatant mishandling of legal documents. I put it in that terms. Somewhere in the year of 1989, a child support case was brought to the court against me. But at that present time, I was incarcerated. So the process server lied and said he encountered me at my dad's house, and I refused to sign the paperwork. So that paperwork got pushed into the system, and they started the bill.
So that's when the clock started running. You clearly were not served because you could not physically have been where they said they served you.
And now,
Again, how can you get blood from a turnip? He incarcerated. He can't give you no money.
and that's why they forced it on him. And
But I don't agree. I don't agree with a man paying for none of that child. That's crazy. I don't agree with that at all.
Sorry about that. My phone died.
I agree with if we might need to do DNA tests before all child
that's
support
what
is established.
I'm in favor of. Before you sign the birth certificate, I think when the baby is born, they bring the baby in there to the mom or whatever. After they clean the baby, they bring it back in there to the mom, and then they come in there and they swab you and do the and then they come back the next day with the birth
Yeah,
certificate.
that will be a perfect moment to do it.
Yeah, especially now because this is it's getting out of hand now because it's too many women putting guys on child support. And
Now I don't believe in doing it out of spite, but if dude clearly don't want to help, at least financially, on something that you both laid down and created, then yes, put his deadbeat ass on
I
child support.
agree with that to a degree, but on the same note, I kind of grew up around strong black women who say, "I'm not gonna force you to do something you don't want to do." And they say, if you don't want to take care of the child, then you don't have to take care of the child. I grew up seeing that at the age of 8, 10. They didn't force nobody to.
And that's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. They didn't force them. They was like,
And the way that things are today and the cost of things today,
yeah,
then
today is different. I say when I was about 8, 10 years old.
But if you think about during that time, shit was high for them back then.
I was
Right.
gonna say
And they
it was
saying
the same.
if the
It was
man
the
didn't
same
want to
thing.
take care of it, they didn't want to force him to do something he didn't want to do. So if you don't want to be in the life, be in the life.
My
And
grandma didn't play them type of games.
you know,
That's just like letting somebody get away with a crime.
Well, either way, a lot of times they're gonna get on welfare if they don't get some type of assistance. So most of
Some
the
of
time, even if they getting some assistance, they won't get on welfare. But sometimes women be double dipping. They get child support and welfare.
right.
Well, the welfare is, I mean, the child support is given through the welfare office right now, I think, in most states. So Uncle Sam gonna make sure he get his money. She ain't gonna get no child support and welfare. Uncle Sam got to pay that grant back. Welfare is a grant, so
Yeah, but
somebody got to pay that back.
some women double dip. I'm telling you, they do.
She called and
Some women take
there.
cash under the table. Some
So
women take cash under the table.
got it. No.
well, now if they get cash on the table, that's one thing. At least their kid is being taken care of. But of course, there are always people trying to scam the system.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, I know a dude. He make about a little bit over 100 grand a year, but he's only paying about $50 a month in child support.
That's a smart man.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And he doesn't see the child.
Hmm.
You say he doesn't see the child?
Yeah, he does not by his choice because it was an outside baby. He got it right, but and
So he pays
he's no
$50.
longer married. He's no
Why
more
is it?
longer.
Why is it he only pay $50 a month then?
Well, the thing is, they don't. He has like
He independent.
three sources of income.
Yeah, it's based on income.
He has
Based on
three.
income.
He has three sources of income, and they were only able to pull from
His job.
from the one that is on paper because another one is disability due to military, so they're not pulling from that, and the other one they do a job that you know is sort of like
That's payment.
where he reports his own income.
Right.
So
Is she working? Is she working?
Now he got a job. That's the only thing they pulling from his regular job, which is probably a $10 an hour.
No, I'm saying is she working? The female.
Oh,
I have no
If
idea.
she's able to body, then that's a problem. Now that to me that's an issue. I mean,
I
it
think
says
don't they count the mother at income now?
that's what I
dude.
thought. Child support was based on both incomes.
In
Both
Texas,
incomes.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if they've started that in Texas, but it wasn't like that
Wow.
before. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think they were trying to implement that, but I don't know if it has been.
Mm-hmm.
Were
See,
doing.
that's crap.
They didn't consider her income.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Wow.
I
Well,
know they.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I've
okay.
seen judges
Yeah.
not
Go ahead.
consider the other children.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Don't y'all think it's okay? Again, I'm not trying to be biased, but I think it's biased towards the moms because it's. I mean, it seems like to
What
me.
most states are maternal states.
Yeah. Yeah. At least the fathers receiving less time with their children being saddled with these high payments anyway. Now, let's look at the financial
And
hard.
then deadbeat
Mhm.
dads don't make it no better. It's like you know how it is.
Yeah.
One person fuck it up for everybody. That's on everything.
But I believe it also creates financial hardship for the fathers too, especially for the non-custodials. These are those high payments. Now you're talking about wage garnishments and suspension of license and all. I mean, it's just inefficient. It really is. The fees that you got to pay plus the state fees, and now you're talking about enforcement over reconciliations and stuff. And
Now,
that's what you want to do.
You say you only pay. You said $50 a month, right?
Yeah.
That ain't nothing.
Shit,
It's not.
that's eating out one time money.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
one field trip.
think about the formula. Thinking about, I mean, I think the kid's like probably 10 now, but just think about
Yeah.
growing up, and I think it was less than that uh, when it was a baby. I think it
What
was.
what is minimum wage? What is
The
minimum wage?
$50
$7?
is the increase.
Still 750, 780 or something.
Oh God, yeah, they probably calculating that
Yeah.
times whatever. That's probably why it's so low. It could be, yeah. Still
Well,
ain't no
I
money
mean, the
though.
thing is, the guy works for the post office.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Hey,
Part
that ain't
time.
no $10 hour job, so I don't know what they calculating his on.
Right. He gotta be working part time.
Or
Wow.
or his necessities. He has necessities.
They don't count your
You know?
necessities in that.
Right. I thought you get like a certain deduction for rent
Yeah, nope,
or
nope.
stuff
What
like
it is,
that.
it's based on X X percentage of your income.
Right.
So I think it's like 25%, and then it
Now, if
goes.
mom doesn't work, then yeah, not that's where it gets lower and lower. If mom doesn't work or daddy doesn't work due to disability or whatever, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, so it gets lower, and then I think he had like two other kids or three other kids,
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
okay.
and
So it's a really $150 a month if he paying for $50 for each one of them.
And you can't take all the money away. I don't think you can do that if he makes a certain
No,
amount.
he only can be a certain percentage of the
Right.
father's income.
Right. You can't take it all
but
away.
but the thing is, at least two of those kids have fallen off, and uh, but he's still paying arrears. He had like $75,000 in arrears.
Right. Because he wasn't never paying the full payment. See, by him only paying $50 a month, that just kept them off his ass.
Yeah, I'm about to
And
say
so
yeah.
that's all that did. And
Speak,
so, but if
speak.
his full payment was 250, then that 200 kept backing up on him every month.
This is what the orange man trying to do. Speaking of arrears, speak this one out.
Trump said if you are 6 months behind on child support, you going to the penitentiary, buddy. So for all y'all cash laid up out there, 4-5 baby mamas, you old Tom, Dick, and Harry money on child support, you might as well get ready for that knock at your door. They ain't playing with y'all no more. Y'all think y'all gonna keep on getting these women pregnant and disappearing, becoming deadbeat fathers, and you ain't gonna pay the piper? You gonna have to do something, my boy. Ain't no need for all them fake designer belts you investing all your money on at the bazaar. Ain't no need for them fake shoes you keep on going out there buying them, them retros, and yeah, ain't no need for none of that trying to be the cutest nigga in the apartments or the projects or the houses. You need to be worried about how you gonna goddamn me take care of them kids. Cause now they coming for you. And ain't nobody gonna be able to save you but you. So if you owe that woman 30, 40, 50,000, if you ain't paid that woman in the months, you might well get ready to go to jail, my boy. Cause probation ain't available.
That's. I think I kind of disagree with that. I just it wouldn't make any sense to go to jail because you for 6 months. Now you're reversing what you're trying to do to try to eliminate the deficit. Don't you want to try to make the money back? Because now it's taxpayers' dollars when you go to jail. You know that, right? And
Yeah.
let me say this too
Like
in the court.
sending
Yeah,
them to jail.
I mean,
yeah,
and I think about it, I see all these supportive services for young mothers going into motherhood, but there really aren't any for young fathers going into fatherhood, right?
and let
And
me
you
yeah
look at when you look
yeah
at that from that angle, yeah, that baby may or may not have wanted that baby.
true.
Well,
That's
us on
true.
this podcast, we need to keep touching young people.
We do.
Whether it's one
We do.
person at a time, we need to keep influencing young people to do the right thing. And your voice have to stay continuously. Doesn't matter
Right.
Right.
stepfather,
Right.
stepson, no matter step friend, godfather, however you can impact these young
Right.
people, man, just do it. It's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Jay,
It
hey,
used to
I
just
don't
be a
just
care if you the
community.
cool
It
neighbor
used to
or
be a
what's up,
whole
my guy.
community raised one child.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a village. It took a village to raise a child.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we need to get back to, man.
Yeah.
Now child support is a contempt of court charge. That's all what it is. That's all what it is. It's not even a felony or misdemeanor. It's just a contempt of court. It's the judge that's ordering you to pay. That's it. If you pay, you won't go to jail. If you don't pay, you will go to jail. That's all what it is. Contempt of court. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand that. So, it's kind of like stealing in a sense. And you have to do restitution to pay back. Then you can get out of jail. That's what child support really is. So, it's a slippery road, man. To me, going back to your message, Jay, the definition to me of a good father, I mean, I believe it's defined solely by his financial contributions. Why people may emphasize the importance of the time and the emotional support and just the involvement of a child's life. To me, I believe that's what a good father is. In general, when it comes to that, it's like, what we doing here, where you're trying to emotionally attach that child to something he needs to get involved with, and you're doing your job, but it's like, maybe the government not seeing it otherwise or whatever the case, and you're trying your best to be a good father, but the courts think otherwise because you're not doing your contributions. Okay, how come the mom is not doing what she needs to do? And let's face it, most of the people who pay child support, the moms are not working at all. I'm just being upfront. They're not. Some are, some aren't not, but most of them are not. And it depends on the points of contention anyway. So, but some argue that the current system don't even account for these circumstances, such as low income or unemployment, or even special needs of the child. You know what I mean? So,
Using
but
the cat as a money bag.
yeah, pretty much. But the well-being, like you said, I like your message, Mr. Kurt, about reaching out to the people who needs to hear things such as this, because this is very informative. It really is. It's a touchy subject. It really is, and it's like it's not getting no better. If you want to try to make some sort of a change or some sort of a modification in terms of where we need to be to these child's opinions, then we all need to come together collectively and talk about what we can do to shift the change of the world, especially if it's economic
Well,
disparities.
I see hope. We just don't hear about it.
No, we don't. No,
We
we don't.
we see our kids fighting like crazy, which is I
Mhm.
hope we address at some point. It's just video after video. There's even platforms created.
Mhm.
Watch our kids just fight like dogs in street, like wild people, just everywhere they go,
I know
anywhere
it.
they go.
I know it.
That's how we're pictured.
Did you see
Like
Mhm.
we got no self control.
where my kids was at Kids Pain in Monroe and they were fighting?
So what now?
What's that?
See the video where the white kids was in Monroe, Louisiana, and they were fighting, and one of the guys, the white kids, got knocked down, and his brain swelled. This happened over the weekend. His brain swelled. He's losing his vision.
Oh wow.
And this just happened this weekend in Monroe, Louisiana, at a Raising Cane.
Oh
Now, the
wow.
time I was in Louisiana, we went by Raising Cane, and they had officers standing out there. I
Mhm.
don't know why they wasn't out there when the Caucasian kids was out there.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah, that does ring a bell.
one thing I'm starting to notice, man. A lot of these food chains are changing how they construct their stores, their restaurants. They're downsizing everything where they don't even want you to dine in anymore. They having kiosks where you just go up there and
Yeah,
just punch in what you want and get out of there.
that's how they
Because be- because
Domino's or something, Pizza Hut or something in Bastrop. You just walk in there and order. You know.
yeah, because they were closing a lot of the Waffle Houses because people go in there late at night, man, and they just
Yeah, I
they
know.
just they just act
Yeah,
damn fool, man.
I've seen the videos. You ain't lying.
They just they next thing you know, they from the club and they back there in the grill area fighting the cook. And it's just got crazy, man.
I know it's funny.
Like
It's
I
funny,
said,
boy.
like like it's sad, man. Like
Yeah, I
it's just
know.
sad though, man.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I,
let's
I
let's
was
not let's not act like black people hadn't been acting a fool since the beginning of time. Now it's just more publicized
it's on
and
video.
more, yeah, it's more publicized because the world has gotten smaller. But we have been killing each other, like killing each other for nothing, for corners, for a beer, for stupid things,
Stepping
for
on a
nothing, just for nothing. But
Yeah,
and that cycle is
hey
not
man,
going to end until we can teach our kids to be individuals, think for themselves, and not have to follow someone else.
yeah, but it's more blatant now, man. It just is, man.
Eh,
I grew up in the streets of Chicago, man, and I was pretty out there every day because I stayed outside, man. And we went to a lot of different neighborhoods. We didn't just hang in our own neighborhood. And I'm telling you, man, we didn't see
yeah,
even at school.
a bit more
We didn't
awesome.
we
Because,
didn't see we didn't see this type of that. It's monetized on these social media platforms to produce and post these videos, man.
Yeah,
If
and
you
and
the
going back to what we were talking about with the Trump thing,
other
as
thing,
you notice how if you notice how Trump is trying to fill the prisons, and he had this deal that he wanted to do with, who was it, Venezuela, where they would accept some of the prisoners from the United States. That was one of the things that he wanted to do. So again, trying to monetize uh, prisoners. Hold on.
and like Kurt was saying, Austin, the only reason I feel like it's a little bit more plentiful now is we still had a little respect. Um, we still had dignity when we were coming. We fought when we had to, not just because we can.
yeah,
Uh, the new generation don't give a. They not worrying about going to jail. They're not worrying about what mama gonna say. They're not worrying about the family reputation, and so they don't care. You know what I'm saying? So we at least, it's like at school, we wasn't sagging and acting a fool and cussing out the principal, but they do that today. So I think the generation has changed, and it is more disrespect out there now than what when we were coming up. We would walk in a place and see uh, Ms. Lorraine and our Miss Washington, and we'll, we were standing in the hall, we sitting up. Now we don't care. And
you could count the number of murders. Do you know I was in Basket for at least 15, 20 years. You could count the number of murders on your hand,
right,
on one hand.
the next. So
Not
it
now.
is different with generation because the parents that's now still trying to, the parents that's raising us now still feel like they got it going on. So they have to put up with the quarters. They have to, can we with the 15-year-old son. So it is a little different now, but it was.
Hey D, when you get a chance, go back and listen to your podcast. It seems like your voice be breaking up a lot sometimes when you speak. I don't know what that is. It might be the weather today. Could be.
I hear the cracking even when I'm not. I hear it.
Right.
It's something because I don't know who it is,
Mm,
but
I
yeah,
don't know.
it is worse out there now than it was when we came up. I have to agree. It's
Right.
sometimes now because they have videos and media, but it's more.
Well, man, I was in Arkansas over the weekend, D, and you know what I didn't hear? Not one siren. Not one. I went to watch my grandsons play basketball, and I went to their recitals. One of them played drums, and one of them played piano, and I went to their recitals. Uh, Matter of fact, my grandson Dodo, he went to his drum recital in his basketball uniform. So he left his basketball game, and then he went to his drum recital. Uh, the older boy used to play. He used to play basketball, but it just was he just liked music better, so he plays three instruments. But I just I just had a great time, man, and just watching them and how I got to watch a lot of basketball. I think I watched about 8 games, and I got to see some seventh graders, man. Man, they were so organized. It was just I couldn't believe that they played basketball that well, man. It was like 59-10. And they play 2 14-minute quarters, and the clock don't stop. Uh, and so they call it a running clock. But I just had an awesome time, man. And we had some neighbors come by. We cooked a lot of food, and uh, it was just real pleasant to see how him and his wife how they run their household.
Right.
And, they got it going on for them boys, man. So they changed the narrative of uh, I hope my child make it till I know my child will make it, and that's where you want to be. You want to put them in the best position to win, you know, so they don't have excuses, and then you don't allow them to have excuses,
Just say this to the women watching. Pay attention. Because y'all love taking these men for child support. And number one, then you want to it takes more than money to raise the kid. When he was coming around, he was helping with homework, he was picking the kids up, he was doing everything. Now you put him on child support and he got to work extra. He can't help. So now you taking away from the bonding time. That's number one. Number two, whatever that court order is in the state of New York, that man doesn't have to do nothing over the court order. No birthdays, no holidays, not Christmas, not back to school, nothing. It's an option for him. But if you talk to anybody in the court system, he does not. It has to be in the court order. That includes summer camp, everything. Because y'all love taking these men, and then it's like, oh, well now, how you not going to help with the birthday party? Because sis, I gave you child support. I gave you child support. Like, we be so gung-ho on child support, and you really went down because your auntie is bitter. Your mama told you to do it. You really wouldn't even think about taking homie for child support. I know somebody who, the homie was on child support. They got back together, and he was like, so when you gonna take me over? She was like, I'm not.
Message.
That goes back. You better know who you laying down with.
And that goes, some AJ was saying, the folks in her ear, these folks was say, listen to your aunties and all that, and you put that guy on child support. Now, I can see the guy feeling some type of way, real nigga shit, especially if they had a bond. I don't agree with him not being there for the child, but I understand. Because if you get $600, $800 child support when I'm there for the child, I feel like you have a choice. If you put me on,
You want giving no $600-800 with child support there for no child?
if you put me on child support, that's all.
I didn't put somebody on child support who was doing something for their child. I put someone on child support who refused to do something for their child.
Right. No, I'm saying if a woman was to put me on child support, that little $800, $500, whatever, $300 you getting a month, that's what you getting.
That's it, huh?
You're gonna have a choice. Either I'm in the life, and if you
I
need,
can understand that.
you need a uniform. If they join the flag line, they join football, they join karate. I'm there. Or you get that $300 a month, and I do what I want when I want. I'm not gonna jump every time you say he needs some.
You can't do what you want when you got kids. It's an everyday, all day job.
That's not what he's talking about.
No, I'm saying
what he's talking
I'm talking
about.
about financially.
What
They
he's
gotta
talking
eat
about,
every day.
if he give you $300,
and
he's willing to do other stuff for the child if the child need it. But if you put him on child support and you get $500, that's all you getting is that $500. I'm not paying for birthdays. I'm not paying for extra shoes or banned supplies or none of
Right,
that.
because it's court ordered.
If
Right.
you
It's
if
what
you
the
was
court
giving 300 and being there and showing up, then she shouldn't have never put you on child support.
Make sure that she understands what you finna do. If you gonna do the child support
That's
thing,
just greedy.
Hey Jay, let me ask you something. Let me ask you this. You too, Kurt. And ma'am, let me ask you this. Let's say that same scenario y'all talked about. Instead of paying them, you pay child support $500 or $600, and you good with that. You don't have to pay that same lady extra money, right? You don't have to. That's just out of the kindness of your heart, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Right, and
You
that's what's
don't.
coming out.
Anything above that court order is a gift.
Okay, I got it. Hey, don't the state get a percentage of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay, that's what I was thinking. If it's 500, they might get like I
get
don't know, 10%.
for if they on welfare or something like that, right?
They gotta pay if they got welfare, they gotta pay welfare back, but the state does the processing fee.
Okay.
So let me tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I did. So when I got divorced, we came to an agreement about what I would pay. She wanted $200 a month per child, and that was that
Mm.
was that was 3 kids. That was $600 a month. So at the time, it was comparable to what I was earning, and it still afforded me to live a decent lifestyle. When I moved to Texas, my income went up to 6 figures. So voluntarily, I increased the money to
Mm-hmm.
$300 a month per child
Mm-hmm.
when I got it. But I took on all the holidays, all of the birthdays. Uh, they had season passes to Six Flags, the water park, anything extra I was willing to do. However, if she had something that was involved in the school process, she needed to pay that with the money that she had that I was already giving her. But every time that I got an increase, I gave her increase. I can't say that she always did the right thing with the money because I had already built a relationship that when I saw my kids, I wanted them looking like they had parents. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want them looking, I didn't give a damn what she did. I wasn't finna let mine look any kind of way when I pick them up and they go out with me.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? But that's just me. And now I've built a relationship with my kids based on respect. They know who I am. No matter what she tell them, they know who I am as their father. She can't put salt on me because they already see different. The minute she start that shit, they like, nah, that ain't what we saw. See, I left no room for her to dictate what my kids think of me. I'm gonna put that in their mind myself. So the mistake I made is when we broke up after we had our first 3 kids, I took her back. That's
Okay.
my mistake. That's on me. So I've been on, like I say, I've been on every 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 perspective you could think of with these kids and their upbringing. I've been in. I can talk on any of it from being a stepdad to being tricked into fatherhood, to paying 18 years of child support for a child that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't mine. You
Mm-hmm.
name it, I done it.
And you know what? Those kids are looking at you too. I bet you.
Absolutely. We have a
I see
great
it.
relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man, listen, the things my kids
Is
do
that
for me,
mine?
especially the older ones who are capable of, man, the things they do just give me chills sometimes, how good they are to me.
I know that's right.
But they
They
know
listen.
what type of father I've been to them.
I know.
And I'm still involved in their life. We have, man, they took me to my first real boxing match when
Oh
I went to
wow,
go
that's
see
amazing. Yeah.
I got to see Earl Spence. You know,
Okay.
and just things they just so good to me, man. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it just feels great, you know,
Right.
to know that that's my seed. You know what I'm saying? That I
Uh-huh.
had something to do with what they've become.
Right. When they were young, they didn't understand the magnitude of how much you meant to them, but now they do. Now they do.
They saw the work ethic. D
Mm-hmm.
knew me. D knew how much I tried to, how much I wanted to give them, man. I stayed in that meal, man.
Yeah.
I damaged the relationship
Trying to make money.
trying to provide, man, because I just wanted a better life for them.
Mm. How old are
But
the kids now? Mm-hmm.
my oldest daughter's 42, my youngest child, my youngest daughter's 20.
My goodness.
So
My goodness.
20, 25, 27, uh 38, no, 39, 41, and 43.
Look at that. That is God.
I
That's
got 9 grand.
God. Mm-hmm. I know. A lot of people can't say what you just implied right there. They just can't. It's just the leverage is there, man, and
I
they
grew up
looking
in
at it
the
all the
streets,
time.
man. I
Mm-hmm.
know, listen, I grew up with both parents, but I grew up in the streets, man, and my parents did the best they could with the tools that they had about raising kids.
I
I
know
had
that's
to take what was good, use it, that was not so good,
right.
just filter it out. I don't need that. What I need
Okay.
to do was create a situation and try to create an environment where my kids found themselves and had an understanding of life that you got to go out and create the life you want. Nobody's gonna give it to you.
Come on now. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna make it easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go out there and be willing to work hard and stick to it. Just stay
Mm-hmm.
with the plan. And now I'm seeing kids who don't live in poverty. I'm seeing kids who make 6 figures. I'm seeing kids who don't cheat on their wife, that
Mm-hmm.
don't drink and smoke and get high. That's never
Right.
been on drugs or ever been in the penitentiary. Don't-
Right.
That's
Right.
not that's not the upbringing that I was used to.
Okay.
But I had a vision when I left Chicago that I was not going to raise my kids in Chicago, that
Mm-hmm.
this would not be the life that they grew up seeing. And
Understood.
and so I had an impact and it paid off.
You're right, and you did it on the own beat of your own drum. It wasn't like you was following anybody, and they followed you because you
Absolutely.
were the rock. You were the heartache. And again, I said earlier, it's nothing to do with the mom not being, the hard person. She's the soft one. You need both. You need both parties. You need the soft one so you can get understanding and emotional stability, and you need the hard rock one for discipline
Absolutely.
reasons. That goes a long way.
You need
Of
that leadership, man.
yeah,
You
you do.
need you
Hmm.
need that
Hmm.
that
It
that that
instills.
men are usually a
Hmm.
voice of reason,
Absolutely.
and they
Absolutely.
need that
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because a lot of times the mom get overwhelmed and she just shut down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're
Well,
right.
the father still had that understanding. Say, okay, hey, I tell you what, this is what we gonna do. See,
Mm-hmm.
and so when you take the leader out of the household, what do you got, man?
I know it. I know it. I watch Good Times all the time, and when James Evans got killed on that episode, man, that house was not the same.
It's
And I
just
know that show wasn't gonna last for long either.
it
So
can't
No, never
be.
was the
no.
same.
How
Mm-mm.
can it be?
Yeah.
What she say?
I said it never was the same. I was just talking about good times.
You
I'm
talking about
letting
Good
y'all
Times?
talk.
The strong,
Y'all talk.
the
Go ahead.
strong
Go
father.
ahead.
Try to preach this now and then.
Yeah, strong
But I
fatherhood.
just I just want us, man, to keep reaching any young person that you can reach, man. That you got, man. Sometime a guy come and ring my doorbell, and I'll just start a conversation with him
Mm-hmm.
just to see where he at, man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes you could meet a person in one day and have
Mm-hmm.
the biggest impact in their life,
Yep.
Right.
and
Yep.
you never know it's one guy I know. He was just his life was just headed down the wrong way, man. And I asked him. I said, "You see how your parents live over there?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "That's you in 5 years."
Mm.
I said, "That's you in 5 years."
Okay.
He went and joined the military, and now he's doing very well for himself.
That's what I'm talking
He
about.
he came and visited me this past Christmas, and he has two sons of his own now, man. And he
Hmm.
told me, I never knew this. He told me, he said, man, I said, Gavin, what made you change, man? What happened? He said, man, that conversation which you had with me one day, he said, that day I went back home, he said, I just looked around at my parents' house. So I just took a look around, man. And I said, I just can't live like this.
Okay.
I can't live like this.
Okay.
I got to do something different. He moved to Houston with his grandma and he joined the military.
Okay.
He got stationed in Hawaii, man. And his life has changed, man.
Hmm. But the thing is, he made his own decisions. That's what you want to do. Never
Yeah,
coddle a child ever. You want to make his decisions. That's based on leadership, and that's based on attitude upon leadership.
yeah,
So whoever did that made the right choices for him. He could have done anything he wanted to do. And I've seen kids, man, they got lazy and don't want to do much. You try to go to Job Corps for them, or let them go to Job Corps, and they don't make nothing out of themselves, and they go back home and stay back to the mom and dad. Not to say it's a problem with that, but what have you gained out of what we've been trying to rear you and try to make you
absolutely.
who you are? So, and that usually happens. So, and that's great that that child you're talking about that become a man. That's what you want. That's the only thing that you can appreciate in life is having the ability to help somebody help themselves. It doesn't get any greater than that.
Yeah,
So
because
that,
what
yeah,
happened, they get complacent. See,
yeah, they do.
if the
They do.
parent has already given up on motivating the child to do the right thing,
Hmm.
then he'll get very complacent and say, "Oh, okay, they'll give me money enough for my phone, give me enough
Right.
money for
Right.
and I can live here for free, and that's
Hmm.
good enough for me."
Right.
And there's
Right.
so many kids like that, and they 30 years old, 40 years old, they just at home doing nothing, just
I
playing
know
Yeah,
it.
video games.
this what I don't like, Kurt. When I'm doing the cybersecurity stuff, because a lot of companies have people at home now. So when you're doing security, you're actually troubleshooting someone uh, that's working from home. And I hear the 42, 43-year old talking to the 71-year old
Hmm.
saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
that,
no,
and that bothers me. And I heard this the other day, and it bothers me. The guy said the dad was on the phone explaining what happened. So I guess the guy is like the son is like AA certified, plus certified. So he couldn't get it done. So they had him call cybersecurity because whatever was in the system was shutting everything down and it was closing off the phone one by one. It was like every 15 minutes a file would disappear. And
Hmm.
the guy couldn't find it. The A+ certified guy couldn't find it, which was his son. So when the guy was explaining to me what was going on, the son in the back cursed his damn out, and I was sitting there like, because the guy said, "Well, you think you can do it? It's doing it." I was like, "I already did that. I don't know why the fuck you telling them that." I was like, "Why is this guy talking to his dad like that? The guy 71 and you 43?" And that.
no respect,
So
none.
I think, like I say, uh,
Yeah.
you the new parents of the day, they're friends with their kids.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
of mine where we're friends at the same note. They have to have that fear, and that goes back to Godfather. Do you
Right.
want to be feared or respected? And he said, "I'd rather be feared. Because with fear comes respect." And that's me. Guy who's talking to his 71-year-old dad that'll probably be in the dirt the next 10 years, and you curse
Hmm.
it out like that. That just did not sit well, but I see it all the time. I see it with the 40-year-olds, 45 or 50-year-olds with these 16, 17, 18-year-old
you're,
kids
you're
cursing them.
absolutely right. You're
Hmm.
absolutely right, man. I
No,
Yep.
being a
Yep.
technician, being a technician, I got to go in a lot of people's houses, man. Same thing you doing. I got to go in a lot of people's houses, man, and I would hear 14, 15 year olds talk to their mama like a dog, man. I like, I'm like, he talked to you like that? Oh, he's just ADD. He just that makes some excuse, and the kids are snapping on him. Man, I'm like, oh hell no.
I know it. I
It
know
just
it.
ain't no way. It's just not gonna happen.
Mm.
You know, and but like you say, uh, they see this, and but believe it or not, often sometimes when there's a lot of arguing in the house, and they see somebody calling treating the mom like that, generally they don't attack the dad like that. Generally it's what I saw is a lot of talking to the mama crazy. But you know, most people like I ain't no way I'd talk like that around my dad. Man, my dad will stump. My mama stump your
I
tongue
mean,
out.
the respect alone should make you do that. I mean, do you understand? We created you. Why would you
Yes,
go against that? That's even in the Bible, right? I mean,
yes.
why would you do that? And when they get older, they're going to realize what they've done, and it's going to be an emotional impact with that. It really is. Will be there.
I don't
But
these days. I don't think they'll because a lot of them's waiting around on their parents to die. Because I've seen instances
yeah,
where the 80-year-old dad or mom would call the 40-year-old or 50-year-old daughter or son over to the house, and they don't want to be there. So they're talking fast, and I told you not to do that. You should have.
hmm
I told you not to do this. The only reason it's not working is because you did that. They talking to their parent.
Because they don't want to be bothered.
right.
Yeah, and I just don't get it. But that's the world we live in now. That.
Yeah, it's an old lady. I go to Sam's. You know, maybe once or twice a month. I see her over there. She's 80. I think she told me she was 86 years old. And we talked, man. She said, "Yeah, my daughter came back and she brought her boyfriend and their kids, and she said, I just don't have any peace in my house, and they just taking over. They don't work. This lady, 80 some years old, and she providing for them. Nobody in the house work.
Mm.
That's, and she said, I hate going home. That's insane to me, man.
It's a psychological state. That's what I think. It perpetrates the financial struggle. It's probably self sabotage too. You ever heard of poverty mindset? That's probably what that is. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the fear of risk taking, the fear of trying to talk back. It could be just the fear of failure by itself.
I don't
Scarcity.
think that.
Yep.
I think the new generation and the world we live in, especially since the pandemic, gave the stimulus checks and the
Yeah.
PPP loans. They just lazy as hell now. That's it.
That's all it is. That's the
hmm
bottom line.
Yeah,
Everybody want a quick fix. There's no quick fix.
No, there's no quick fix. No.
they ran through that little 20,000, and now they lazy. They don't want to work. That's why everywhere you go, you see help wanted signs everywhere.
hmm
Nobody want to work.
Wow.
Hey,
And
Wow.
they said ain't no job. They said ain't no jobs out there, right? Ain't no
right.
job.
Mention that, Curtis. Go and check out when you out. Just look around. Everywhere you go, from Home Depot, Lowe's, uh, shit, Chase, Bank of America, everybody hiring. Nobody want to work.
I know it. I know it. And sometimes some of these kids they get they get particular about the pay too. We know 7.25, yeah, but we're talking like if it's $12 or $13 an hour, that's not enough for me. I don't think I think I need to be about 15, $16 an hour. I'm like, what's the damn difference?
Yeah, ain't got no skills,
No,
none.
exactly. No, the one that gets to me is when they graduate from college, expecting that they're going to just get this lucrative job because they got a degree. But I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, you got to have experience somewhere. You
Yeah,
know, if you had the experience, that probably take you more so than if you got a degree. You know, and if you
yeah.
got a degree, yeah, you qualify. But do you know how to operate something? If you
You know,
don't, they don't want you.
they start saying, this is what they start saying. And
Uh,
I it's out early when I was putting my degree out there first.
yeah,
They'll tell you overqualified.
yeah.
You don't get the job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you go in there with your accolades, your degrees, I got a degree in this and that, computer science, this and that and that. they're gonna say you overqualified, and they'll hire someone with a high school education if they can train.
Okay. Okay. What is that? Like if you work in a plant or something, and you trying to get there, you got a degree in, I don't know, psychology, and you
Right?
want to work in a plant. They got this special program you can work for just to get the skills up if you got the education, something like that. Because it costs them money to try to hire somebody anyway, as opposed to the turnover ratio. Just because you got a degree and you can't work this job, okay, now we're going to fire you. Now you wasted our time and money. So let's just train them and see where it goes within that time.
This was like at Procter and Gamble, and they were like, "You overqualified," because they wanted someone in there that they can, the yes man, the one who don't.
Yeah.
If you have education and experience, a lot of jobs these days that want entry level workers, they're not going to hire you.
Right.
They number one, you're going to come in there saying you want cooperative market wages. You're not going to just accept 15, 20 hours. And
I know.
so
Let
they
me
got, if
tell you
you're
what happened.
qualified, and then you're going to look at someone with a high school education or 2 years college dropout, he's going to get that job over you.
Absolutely.
And
Let me
it's
tell you what happened.
that early.
Let me tell you what happened to Courtney, my son Courtney. So Courtney was working for Walmart. He went in since he left college.
Mm-hmm.
He started off with about 85,000 a year when he came out, was like 20 years old, 22 years old. So last year he had filled out the application for Amazon, and he didn't think nothing about it. But at this point, he was making about 125 at Walmart.
Okay.
Since the time he'd been working there.
That's good money.
And he's what you call a cloud architect, right? So
Okay.
he builds storage platforms for Walmart.
Okay.
So finally, Amazon sent them an email, said, "Hey, we saw your application. We interested in interviewing you." So he went through a series of the first 2 interviews. He passed those. So now they sent him another said, "We'd like to continue with the hiring process. We have one more interview for you to do. It's it's a 5-hour interview. You will be interviewed by 5 different people.
Damn.
And then we'll make a determination." So he went through. They gave him some stuff to study, or what type of questions they may be asking. And so they gave him about like a week to deal with that. And then they had the interview, and then they sent him an offer letter. Said, "We'd like to make you an offer, 185,000 base pay with $250,000 sign-on bonus over the next 2 years plus stocks options." So he took the job, and just as he took the job, about 6 months later, they laid off 20,000 people. Then they turned right back around and laid off another 12,000. So just when he started doing upgrade on his house, he added a whole nother floor to his house and built it upstairs. He built 3 bedrooms, an office, a bathroom, and a media room upstairs. He took a 1-story house and made it a 2-story instead of buying another house. So anyway, he was going through the midst of all of that, and they kept pushing the rebuild, the modification to the house back because of weather. And so he ended up staying in Airbnbs for like 4 months. He ended up paying about $15,000 to stay in Airbnbs.
Okay.
So finally, he tried to go into his email one day for Amazon, and he couldn't get in. And so then he called his manager, and his manager said, "Have you checked your email?" He said, "Well, I can't get in." And so he had got laid off. And so what they did was they gave him a severance package, like 6 months pay, but he wouldn't get the rest of the sign-on bonus and
That's
all
what I
that.
was going to ask. Was he on a contract? Was he on a contract?
Not yet.
Okay. Because if he was, he had to get paid all that money.
Right.
Every
He
single penny
not
of it.
yet. He didn't even have 6 months in.
Oh wow.
And so he called his old boss back. His old boss back said, Courtney, we'd be glad to have you back. And so they offered him, they said, well, we could bring you back in at 130, 132 or something like that. We told him no. He said, I can't work for that. He said, I can't work for that. They said, well, did you have a number in mind? He said, yeah. He said, I can come in at about 155.
Oh no, the burnt up. I
And so
wouldn't.
they came in at 147 and they hired him back. And he survived, man, like 15 layoffs. They just laid off 25,000 people. He was just showing me when I was there this past weekend.
Wow. So they laid off some people and they went and hired him back because I guess his job was a supply and demand situation. They needed
Well,
him.
he's just, man, he's just a good employee though, man. He just don't slip. He get any certification. He don't wait for them to get the certification. He'll get the certification and pay for it himself.
Mm-hmm.
He just stay on top of his craft, man.
Now, I will say this, Mr. Black, y'all. I like this. I like this scenario what you're saying because it implies about the fact of, and again, I'm not knocking college. I'm not knocking college. It is a very theoretical school, but I always tell my kids this too. Sometimes vocational work and on-the-job training type work will help out, and you will make a lot of money doing that. And in your situation, I guess it ruled out because he was an engineer. It was much more of a need than anything else. And in his case, he's demanded anywhere. Now, the person with the college degree, okay, you can get somebody with a college degree, but do they know how to do the job? In this case, your son, whoever it was, he knows how to do the job. They needed him for anything because they knew that the time was going to be wasted, the money was going to be wasted. So
I'm
instead of
training
trying to find
somebody
somebody,
different.
they
Yep.
went and got him back. And that was a smart move. Both of them won. Your son won and they won. That is an example of what it is to have a great mindset, not a poverty mindset, but a very good, great mindset,
No,
knowing
and
that you
know
want to
your
try to better
value.
yourself.
And
Right.
know your value.
The value was there. It was there. And he won. I mean, the money wasn't more he anticipated, but he got something back. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
great. And that's based on his skill set. Not because of some he went to school 4 years and did a Greek step show and trying to, whatever. No, it was he went to a skill school. And it pays.
I learned
Mm-hmm.
you have to find out what that company's demand, like you're saying, what's the demand, what they need in the company.
There
Because
you go.
if you see anything entry level, do not apply for it. Because if you apply for an entry level job with
Yeah.
skill education, you're not going to get it. You have to go to the job that you certified in. Don't do the entry level with skills. They're going to say you're overqualified. And
Yep.
it's not a disrespect because you like,
Well,
okay, I'm you.
they want the most for their money. Hey, they very selective now. They want the most for their money, man. If you got a guy told me long time ago, I asked this young, I used to meet a lot of people, man, and I asked this guy one time, this doctor, this young Chinese doctor, I said, if you had any advice for one of my sons, what would it be? He said, learn how to do a little bit of everything from technology to understanding how to operate different Microsofts and offices. And he said, get skilled at a lot of things. He said, make yourself valuable for a company where they see that if they say, hey, I need somebody to do this, you fit in. Oh, I need somebody to do this. Need Put yourself in a position where you stand out versus where you just fit in. You want to stand out, and that's what they do, man. And so, man, it's just that I'm glad they are who they are, man. And
When they
it just
offer
feels
you something,
it just feels wonderful, man. It just does, man.
yeah, when
And
it
I'm the
feels
type of
good,
father, if you ain't shit, I say you ain't shit. But
right?
if you doing what you're supposed to do, I'll give you your flowers too.
That's right.
You
That's
know.
right. But that's good. Your son went and winning that. That's wonderful, and that's a lesson to learn too when it comes to that. Going back to the father role and the leadership role. even in the household. I mean, they win every single time, and a woman should respect and honor that for that reason. Especially the kids are looking up for something like that, and his kids might be looking up for something like that. You know, in the sense that he stays in this job, and okay, he got laid off, but he fight to get his job back, and that in itself is very enriching and great for that to learn. You
But
just
one
don't get
thing that I learned, man, if I learned nothing else as a parent, especially with my oldest son, he had a lot of issues where he didn't see his own value, and he got involved with an older woman, man, and
Mm-hmm.
he left home. You know, when he first left college, he moved out to Vegas, got involved
Okay.
with the older woman, man, and she was just kind of using him,
Okay.
and I had to constantly uh, make him remember who he was,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's easy to criticize and tell what a person is doing wrong, but you have to push a lot of positivity in their life, man. They a lot of times a kid don't really trust in what he what you're trying to tell him, so you have to keep affirming and teach him more positive stuff than negative stuff. They hear so much negativity. You have to keep telling them, man, you a king.
Right.
You can do great. You have to keep making them feel like they're valuable, man. You have
Yes,
to
sir. Yes, sir.
self-esteem in them. It's so important. It's easy to be so. Most of the time when we mess up, we already know it. We already feel
Mm-hmm.
horrible about it. I don't need to
Yeah.
keep beating you up about something that you did wrong.
I know.
How can I make you learn from it and keep you feeling positive so that you keep your feet moving
There you go.
instead of you getting stuck in the mud because you made a poor choice? Because
Mhm.
that's what it all, that's what it all boils down to, your choices,
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I'm 63 years old, man. I ain't finna stop being a father. That's my job till I die,
I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's
Awesome.
up.
you know.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. That's good. It's a
Yeah,
good story too.
I got a lot of respect for like I've seen Mr. D Black come a long way, man. It's
Uh-oh.
good to see
He was
when
a bad boy.
hey, look, he was the type, man. He was like, hey man, I don't give a damn, Rock. They used to call me Rock, Bo Rock. Bo Rock, I don't give a damn, man. It's my way or no way.
Damn.
You know. And
Don't
Life
ask.
lessons, man. Mhm.
because he grew up in a house where he saw strong people with strong values.
Yep.
And
And that's what
so he wasn't finna just let somebody else dictate what he can and can't do. He went out and got his own, and that's what you want. You got kids these days, they lazy as hell, man. The problem is everybody want a quick fix. They just
Yep.
want it to be easy. It ain't easy.
I totally agree. And that's the thing. When kids they don't understand the magnitude of love and understanding and of structured rise way and just things that are put together until you hit a mature age in your life. Now you get to see
Right.
the realization of what life is. Look, when we're kids, we want to jump off the bridge. We want to jump on the damn bike and see who can cat to the biggest hill or
Yeah.
something. We don't care
And
about that.
mad at our parents because they wouldn't let us.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You're right. But as we get up in age, now we see the realization of health care and
Mm-hmm.
things such as like Social Security and taking care of kids and being a parent. Now the realization hit us. When we're young, we don't think about that. And you
How many
have
kids?
to
How many kids
instill
do
it.
you have?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
speak this
And
story.
Bird, how many kids? How many kids do you have?
for
Hey,
me, oh, I got a son and a daughter. My son's 30. My daughter just graduated from college. 21,
Awesome.
Tennessee State. I'm on her too.
Where do you live at?
I live in Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay, you down there in the boot.
Yeah, man. Yep, Florida State, a FAMU is a college town. Hey, they cannot drive worth a damn too.
Yeah, it's
They
crazy.
got accidents here
I
all the
lived in
damn time.
I lived in Fort Lauderdale for about 3 years.
Yeah, man. Oh, Ron DeSantis' ass is right down the road.
Y'all got some crazy laws down there, man.
I know it. I know you ain't got to tell me shit. Oh, hey, did y'all hear about this, man? You know about the Chrisley folks? The Chrisley knows best people. Todd
Yeah.
and Julie Chrisley. They got released
Okay,
today.
Christian. Okay,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yep. Donald Trump did a pardon on them.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a presidential pardon on the Chrisleys, and one of them was in Pensacola prison, and the other was in Kentucky. But yeah, so Trump doing his thing. I guess he's eliminating the people from the prisons, and I was like, damn. So
Oh, he off the chain, man.
yeah, he is. So, but
Yeah,
that's amazing, man.
that's a whole nother conversation.
I know it.
For another day.
I know.
Got that fool in there now, boy.
Yep, exactly.
If you're thinking about putting that man on child support, think twice, think 3 times, think 4 times, because there may come a time in life where you might be emotionally stable and realize like that wasn't a good choice. Let me give y'all a backstory. So my daughter's 11, okay? She was born January 2014. We mutually went and filed for child support October 2014. My daughter wasn't even a year old. At the time, I was young. He was young. We had just broke up. He was doing his thing. I was hurt, and I was, going through things emotionally and having postpartum, and he was playing in my face. So I'm like, fuck it, yeah, we can do that. Did that. And baby, I'm trying to tell y'all, we've been in the process for years trying to get this man off of child support. The courts keep denying. They keep denying our paperwork. So he actually got a consultation from a lawyer this time to see like what is it, what are we missing, to get this court order dismissed. So he got some tips and tricks or whatever from the lawyer. So today we went and got the stuff notarized again this morning to submit to the courts, and fingers crossed that they approve it and dismiss all this.
Mm.
Usually it's the money involved when they won't release it. Because you don't child support is something you're paying them to do. It's a service provided. And you can't tell me I got to pay you or I got to have you on child support
And the government
unless
don't do
I
nothing
owe
that
some money in a grant somewhere.
the government don't do nothing that ain't monetized. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm. They ain't giving you welfare for free. It ain't free. It never was.
That little stimulus they give you, that's your money.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a
Yeah.
question. Do you think that the child support system was designed to eliminate the father in the house, in the household?
Yep.
The government is the dad.
Welfare, yes. And
Yeah.
It all worked hand in hand. You got to think about when welfare started.
The prison
That's what it
system
was designed to do.
the prison system was designed exactly for that.
And it's coming out of our money too, out of our taxpayers' dollars.
Absolutely. And the prison system is big money.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
they
Angola is 170,000 acres. I don't know if y'all realize that Angola is 170,000 acres.
What's that, Angola prison?
Yes, 170,000 acres
I
of
thought
land.
Alcatraz was bigger than that. I thought Alcatraz was the biggest one.
And there's millions of dollars just on the farming through
Okay.
Angola.
Yeah, I believe you. That's in Louisiana.
Yes, and that's free. That's free. That's free labor.
Free
Free
labor.
labor. I want to still got the chain gangs. They
They
probably
pay
do.
pennies. They paying them pennies on the dollar.
Wow. That is a lot, man. That really is. Not to say that Louisiana don't need it, but yeah, it really
But
is.
it don't go toward Louisiana.
who they send it towards.
Shit, it don't go toward Louisiana. This world is ran just like a monopoly board, man. Whatever states produce the most money, that's where the money is spent.
Wow.
They don't. So all of the poor, you think about it, all the poor states, Mississippi, Louisiana, all these other states, the reason they don't have any infrastructure there, and they don't have any type of jobs or anything there, because it's a poor state. They're not going to. You think they're going to invest in good schools in the poorest of states? That doesn't make any sense. They invest where they got infrastructure, and they got uh, uh, a lot of these corporations, these huge corporations, create a lot of money.
Right.
Then they're going to invest the good neighborhoods and the good schools. That's what the good roads and all of that. The good grocery stores. They're going to go in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
There's grocery stores right now that actually you put your food in the cart, and the cart ring it up, and you just pay for it in the cart and walk the hell out.
Hmm.
They ain't got that in no black neighborhood.
No.
Oh, that's one of the worst prisons of all time too. Angola. They said nobody wants to go there. No one wants to go there. I heard Miami's the worst of them all. They said that Dade County, they say you don't want to sleep on the floor. It's bad. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. They got some prisons down in Alabama too. Ain't no good. The one in Atmore,
In the South.
through there. Yeah, I'm for real. But yeah, all of it, I guess, is based related on our money being paid off like that. That's why I'm just trying to figure out why jail would be the actual would be the remedy of child support. Why would it be the solution? It won't. It makes it worse because the guy
because it gets them to get, first of all, you know, you if you don't get a record one way, you gonna get it another way, one way or another.
But
If you
again,
ain't
it's
a
just
criminal, you gonna go to jail for child support.
Right. The way they look at it, either way they gonna get money from him. If he's not gonna
He
pay,
gonna get monopoly.
We're gonna put him in prison, and then we're gonna get money for him being in prison.
And and I know y'all heard of dead time. Somebody told me about dead time. When you get locked up, if you going from such to such, you cannot get out no matter what. And I think child support relates to that too.
I thought that if you, let's say the father was incarcerated during those years of incarceration, when shouldn't he get credit or some type of deduction for not paying that?
I don't think so, because again, you're talking about. I think what happens is,
I
okay,
mean,
this
it
goes
ain't
back.
like he can. He in jail.
Okay, this goes back to how much you make an hour, the money. Let's just say minimum wage. If you count how much he owes in child support divided by the days in jail, I think they calculated that way. If he owes $10,000 in child support, they divided in how many days that he's supposed to spend, and he can't get out. He can't get out at all. He has to stay until they pay the whole money. Like I said, it's kind of similar to theft. Like sometimes they'll lock you up and you won't get out of jail until you pay the money back. Restitution, they call it. Something like that. So, but I think if you owe $10,000 in arrears and they catch you, you're not working, and then you get locked up, you're gonna stay here until 2027. You can't get out until you pay such and such a money. The reason I know is because one of my friends was in a bad situation like that, and they stayed shit. Oh God, I think he stayed for about 2 years. He had to do some KP service, I guess, like kitchen service to get out. They do a 2-for-1 if you do that, and you get out like half of the year or something like that. That's what he was telling me. But he said dead time. If it's dead time, you cannot get out no matter what. They don't give a damn. And keep in mind, it's just a court order contempt charge. That's all it is. It's not even a felony or misdemeanor, really. It's the court just telling you to pay the child support. And if you pay it, you stay out of jail. If not, boom. Yep. And that $100 a month thing, that's just keeping them out of jail.
Anything to disrupt the black family's household.
I know it.
You don't want black leaders. You don't want black leaders becoming smart, intelligent, and capable of becoming something, and they become your next Obama. That they feel challenged.
Yeah.
They just don't want. Black people have always been a threat because once we become something, we give it our all. We do it the best.
I agree.
They don't. They want you to be. They want you to be enough just to shut you up. They don't want you to be where you empower other people. That's why you got all of these wealthy black people. You don't never see them putting their monies together to group the grouping their monies together to create anything.
Well, that's a mindset problem. Yeah, that's a mindset problem there. I think that goes back to the slave mentality for that
Absolutely.
reason. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they created brands for themselves, and that's all they talk about. My brand. I don't want my brand messed up. I don't want my brand. They ain't finna do nothing that's disrupt their pockets.
Right.
Once they do make it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of them situations, man. You think about it this way. If you was the king of everything, what would you give that up for?
Yeah. Yeah, that's selfishness. That fits
But
selfish.
but I'm saying, if you sat on the throne, right, and
That's
you
true.
had the resources, and you got collectively, you get money from every walk of life, right? Calling taxes, whatever the hell you want to call it. This ain't nothing new. It's been this way. What would make you think you would give that up because you concerned about what the people on the bottom going through? Really? Really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This goes back to the leadership, like you're saying about giving back, philanthropy type stuff. You can learn from that.
Everybody who made over let's say $10 million gave back something, a percentage, 1%,
It
and
makes
put it
sense.
in a one fund. We could
Yeah.
probably end hunger and in the United States, because
You
it's
can
hunger
change,
in the
you can
United
change a lot
States,
of things.
and homelessness.
That's what Bernie Sanders was trying to do, but they didn't want that.
Or
And
that's
it
too
looks
much
good on your
like
tax
giving
return too.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
That's too much.
Bill Gates said in 20, I think he says starting in 2060 or whatever, 2050 or something like that, he gonna start donating his money, all of his money. By the time he dead, he want all his money donated to all of these different institutes, art institutes, and uh, different fundings. But he ain't getting it to nobody. Not like that.
Right.
He want to build monuments. He want to be able to say, "Hey, that's the Bill Gates funding. Bill Gates
Right.
built."
Right.
That's the Bill Gates bill now. That's
Yeah,
Leaving
you
something
finna,
behind. Yeah.
so yes, there's enough money, and it just the money the Saudis are contributing. A lot of it could all change world hunger and a whole lot of other things.
I know it.
Mhm.
But why listen, the poor gonna keep being poor because the rich gonna create situations where they ask the poor to take care of the poor. You think
Well,
about that. The rich ask the poor to take care of the poor.
well, that's part of the poverty mindset. That's the calculated risk no one is taking. You stepping outside of a comfort zone and taking those risks for opportunities. You focusing on abundance and you developing a growth mindset. I believe that's one of the reasons why the rich are the rich. I'm not going to say the poor is the poor, but I'm going to say that if the mindset is there that you think you can do something, but you choose not to, that's where that, and one of y'all said it earlier, complacency. See,
Yeah.
you don't want to be complacent. You don't. That's a no, 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 no. You don't want to do that because it feels good. You want more. You want so much more that you will be like a Bill Gates that you have so much money, you want to give it all up at the end of the day because, being the kingdom and everything else. But if the poverty mindset is going to make you stay to where you are, i.e., don't want to take care of your family, and i.e., taking child support and all this other stuff taken in, it's that fear of risk taking, and it's a financial loss due to the fear of failure. That's what I believe. Self sabotage plays a lot with that too. You know,
Yeah,
low
that's
self
true.
worth. It does. So it's like you want to overcome that. And as black people, going back to the slave days, it's like, well, I don't want D Black to make a good podcast, and I don't care about AJ and George Brooks and all that. I want to be the best Curtis, and because of that, I'm going to follow my way. Which we're thinking we're just delusional when it comes to that, and that's why we can't work together. It's sad. The
But
Mexicans could do it. The
we got
Italians
to
could do
get
it.
out of we got to get out of the mindset.
Yeah.
We got to get out of the mindset that somebody
Mhm.
can come save us.
I know it. I
That
know
ain't
it.
happening.
I know it. And it's going to take probably the government or some sort of a bill or legislation in Congress to try to make some ways that we can try to get these businesses back together. We can try to get the economy back together and get away from all this disparaging and economic problems and disproportionate stuff, even with mental health too. It will help us all out if we can coexist, within that time frame, if we can do that. I mean, we don't care who the president is. It doesn't matter who runs the country, but what can we do to better ourselves? Because it's not getting no better at all. And
But everybody's starting to claim mental health now.
Yeah.
But I mean, just think about it though. If everybody had something, that would ease a lot of people's mental health.
It would.
A lot of times, mental health rears its ugly head when you are down or going through something or experiencing some type of issue, right?
Right.
But if we could help one another,
I know.
then that would, I mean, everybody ain't out here just robbing the grocery store because they want to rob the store. They doing it because they hungry.
Right. There's a rationale to it. You're right about that.
We understand
You
that,
know.
AJ. But what I'm saying, it's a lot of people just lazy, AJ.
Yeah,
I get that. I get that. You're right.
You know,
And it just blows my mind how many people leave, able-bodied people leave money on the table because they just lazy. I get
listen,
that too.
my parents used to give us allowance $5 a week, right? Well, that wasn't enough for me. So I would shovel snow. I would shovel my neighbor's snow. I would cut grass. Whatever I would wash cars. Whatever I could do to get me an extra $10, $15, $20. I like I like nice things. I like to buy. I didn't want my parents to always have to buy me something. So I learned good work ethics. And since I had to work anyway, working it wasn't hard for me. It's just work. But a lot of kids now, I'm telling you, hey, Dad, can I have $30? What for? I need to pay my cell phone bill. Well, you don't need no phone if you can't pay your cell phone.
There you go. Exactly. I love it. Go get a job.
You know?
I know that's right.
So you don't need no minutes. You don't need none of that.
Oh,
and
my
that's the last thing you worried about. If you broke, my dad said, how the hell you gonna go to sleep every night and wake up and you ain't got no money? How could you sleep and you broke and your pockets is hurting? I ain't gonna go to sleep comfortable knowing I ain't got no money, man.
And like you said, AJ, able-bodied is able-bodied. If you got that able-body, you can do it.
My job used to say, hey, man, you could pick up all the work you want. Well, until I got tired, I would stay out. I would keep, hey, y'all got any more work? Yeah, we got a job over. It's 30 minutes away. Okay, get here. Put it on me. I'll go do it. That's an extra $100 in my pocket. So I just, you can't need money and then they got money for you to get.
Absolutely.
You won't go get it. That's just dumb.
Yep.
But what you want is be able to call me and then I just go on Cash App and say send. That's what you want. See? Well, I ain't that type of guy. Because the minute you put me in, I'm going to treat you like a bank. The minute you call me and ask me for money, I'm finna do like a bank. I ask questions. A bank, if you ask a bank for if you ask them for $5, they finna give you a form with questions on it.
Absolutely.
The minute you start asking me for money, you just put me in your business because I don't even want to know what you're doing over there. I ain't ask I ain't say, how much you make? Well, what you doing over there? I don't want to know.
I heard that.
Don't include me in your business if you don't want me asking questions. Because I start thinking about, well, hey, didn't you just tell me you was at so-and-so last month? Yeah. Well, where your money at then? How you get over there? Didn't I just see you had you just told me you and your boys was over, y'all cooked steaks and y'all had ribs and you had alcohol. And I know you must have spent $300 right there.
Oh, my goodness.
And ask me for $30.
Woo. Poverty mindset.
Yeah, I don't want to be in your business. I don't want to be the solution to your problems. Now, don't get me wrong. If you doing your best and you working hard and I see you trying, I promise you I got your back.
Preach.
Yeah.
I'm teaching my girl that now.
But what
As
you
earned. I call it as earned.
what you ain't finna do is sit up.
Shit. As earned.
Hi,
You
baby.
show me something, I got your back.
But what you ain't finna do is make me be the solution to
Thank
your
you.
financial issues because of your bad decision making.
Yep. Yep.
You got to be responsible, man, because the first person I pay is myself. After
Mm.
I pay myself, I pay my bills.
Yep. And Mr. Black, that is the definition of a good father. That goes back to your tag on your thing. That's what a good father is, right there. Letting them learn on their own.
Gotta be in there at support, man.
Yep.
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 They didn't. Yeah, that was my motivation. They didn't.
Exactly, for real. I laugh at it. It's funny to me. It's like, damn, you ain't learning this now, and you're still young. Wait till you get about 30 and 40 and 50.
You know, you got to teach the child to learn good decision making. The reason it's so important.
Right.
Life is very difficult when you make good decisions. How the hell are you gonna go through life making all these poor ass decisions, thinking somehow it's gonna make it easier? It's
Exactly.
already challenging when you do the right thing. It's still some shit gonna come at you. Hot water tank gonna go out. Tire gonna go out on the car. You know, things happen.
Come on now. I need to let my girl hear this. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. You're right.
You know a tire. You know it's 4 tires on the car. You know at some point, any point, one of them tires gonna go out. Why not have the tire money already put for the side? That way, when the tire go out, you ain't got to call daddy. Say, hey, daddy, my tire went out. I'm at the car shop. I'm getting my tire put on.
Mm-hmm.
Because you already prepared for the tire going out. It ain't gonna last. You can't ride till it ain't got no straight. It just ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you have to be
Some will
prepared.
leave the car right there. They'll just leave it there. Don't do anything about it.
Won't get the oil changed.
Yeah.
There's a reason they put that sticker in the window.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
That ain't just for decorations. It ain't just cause it look good. It like, hey man, look at my new sticker. No, that ain't what that's there for.
Mm-mm.
The car have to be serviced.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I stay in teach mode, man, and sometimes I get tired of it. I know they get tired of hearing it, but goddamn it, I ain't gonna stop it. I can't help it. That's my job.
Hey, that's how God made you.
That's your kid. That's your child, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then. No, that's no excuse. That's what they have to do. You are the number one. If no ifs, ands, or buts. You're doing what you need to do. Period.
I'm not gonna stop, getting you lessons. It's just
No.
I have to find moments to teach. Because
Trust
a
me, they
lot of
need
times
you.
what
Yeah.
happened that very thing I'm teaching, they gonna run across that situation and be like, damn, that's what that
No
is.
one knows the kid better than the parent. You're right about that. They need you more than you need them. Trust me.
Yep.
Trust me. On all levels. On all levels. Just don't give up, man. Just don't give up being who you are. I don't care if they're 30, 40, 50.
I'm
They still
not.
Yeah, I
need
was
you.
just about to
They
say that
don't.
even when they're grown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They do
They
not
be
care. They
having me
still
say,
need
Papa,
you.
you need to talk to so and so. I said, shit, I talk to him if you want to listen. Shit,
Right.
I talk to him if he don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
got
Me
something he
too.
needs to hear.
Hmm. I'm gonna try to reach them, and maybe another time too if I don't get through the first time,
Right.
and I'm gonna try back again, and
Yeah,
then
he do the same thing. He stay counseling young people. He stay
Okay.
counseling
yeah,
couples. Don't you,
yeah,
Black?
Oh yeah, all the time. I was a mentor for 5 years.
No
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's good. That's good.
That's something you don't ever give up doing, man. It's just it's wonderful to do that, to teach other
It
young
keep you
people.
Yeah,
sharp. It keep you on your toes, man.
And
I know.
you
yeah,
talk to your parents. That's who he had the mentor. Parents were incarcerated. So, it was deep.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
I could
I bet you that
imagine.
child remembers that too. They remember D Black. Watch. Where's D Black at? I gotta find what's going on with him.
Well,
I could imagine it was deep.
Yeah.
Man, you can't forget D Black, man. That's the DJ. That
Mm-hmm.
DJ
they
Black.
social media now. A lot of, but yeah, it's deep. That's why, like I say, once a month we're gonna dedicate it to the mental health and touching up on what's going on in the community. And I wanted to be the last last Wednesday of the month. So
Oh yeah, this is mental health awareness. You're right, awareness month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we appreciate you, Curtis, man. You came.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's glad to meet you. Nice to meet you, man. Nice to
Thanks,
hear.
man. I'll
Hey,
try. I'll try to come last time, but I've just been so tied up. But I will get as much as I can. If George Brooks won't do it, I'll see what I can do. And George is not here, man. What happened?
George earlier, he had to leave.
Yeah,
And,
he leave. Yeah.
But hey, you stepped right in. We didn't even know he was coming.
Yeah, I know. I
But I
know.
like your point of view, man. You got a good voice of reasons.
I like
And,
all you guys. Y'all got it going on, man. Thank you,
and
man.
you've been around the block a little bit, so you know a
Yeah.
couple things. You know.
Yeah. I hear Chanel. I hear Chanel bit mouth up there sometimes too. Yo, Chanel. She's something else, but that's my girl. Oh, Chanel.
Right.
Yeah, she's wild. So, but yeah, man. Anytime, man. I'll try my best to get there as much as possible. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. I love all you guys. Y'all got it going on. Keep making a difference.
It's really, really nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, it is too, man. We'll hook up. Yeah, we'll hook up. We will.
What's up? That's what's up. Florida, Curtis, y'all. Hey, tell them what you do, Curtis.
Oh, me? Oh, I am a adjuster. I'm a appraisal for home inspections and commercial properties. I travel everywhere. I travel all the way up to New Jersey, all the way down to the Carolinas. I do home inspections and appraisals for commercial properties. And accounting, and I also do mental health in terms of anger management. Board certified, and I also do shoplifting and theft prevention. I'm court ordered for that too. So if you know anybody,
if you ever in the Fort Worth area, man, just let me know, man.
Okay, I do that, and I'm also author of a book. So I've done one book. I'm about to write another one too, real soon. It's all self-help stuff. So
what's the name of your book?
It's called Curtstride. Curtstride. Just named after me, Curtis.
Is it Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah, you can look it up. Just look on the Curtis last name, Abrams, and you'll see it there. I got a workbook and I got a a paperback book, and it was a bestseller at the time. It was, and a lot of people like it because it talks about self-awareness, especially if you're by yourself. And I just give you some tips on what you need to do to overcome the loneliness in life. That's pretty.
Is it on Kindle Unlimited, or do I got to purchase it? Because I got a Kindle Unlimited amount.
It should be on there. Yeah, it should be on ebook, Amazon. Like I said, a paperback, and I got a workbook, and it's an audiobook too. I made an audiobook, which I did the narrating. So
that's all that stuff. Curtstride.
Yeah, Curtstride. 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 The journey of solitude for the self.
That's awesome. I'll look it up.
Box that to all of us.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Definitely.
That's awesome. And I'm glad.
Okay. I appreciate it. And I'm on Facebook too. You want to be my Facebook friends, Curtis Abrams. You'll see me. Jay, I think we're friends, Jay.
Curtis Abrams?
Yeah, Abrams. Curtis Abrams. Yes.
Where you from?
I'm from Alabama, believe it or not. Roll Tide, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, no. Oh, hey, Pritchard. Hey, let me tell y'all something. Pritchard is hood. They will rob you at gunpoint at Pritchard.
Yeah. And they put you a little liquor in the tea. Mm-hmm.
I heard about y'all preachers out there in Pritchard, man.
I need a hot toddy from
y'all
Forrest Gump. Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, baby. I'm from Tuscaloosa, man. Roll Tide, Tuscaloosa. Tuscaloosa. I gotta go there this weekend.
All right, sir.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's a pleasure meeting you guys, man. And AJ, we got I know this subject is particularly for man. That's why I just gotta be careful. I'm like, oh God.
Hey, Black,
I can take.
Throw the dog up for me right quick. Throw the dog up for me right
quick. What dog, man? What dog? Oh, hell no. I like that. Oh, hell no.
He's been showing out later. Somebody gave him some memes and he don't know how to stop using.
AJ, that's my girl. That's so D Black, you're showing you the sneaky eye.
I hear you, man. I hear you guys. Yeah. Y'all guys be careful, man. We got to do this again. I'll see what I can do.
Absolutely. Well, y'all have a good night, man.
Okay, we'll hook up. Y'all take care. Y'all be good now. Thank you.
All right, good night.
We out. Appreciate everybody.
All right.
What you think, man? I've been in the polyamory lifestyle, I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle, it's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. Okay. And the mindset for me is, mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it, because I've always felt that this, like, monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Like, I don't understand why I have to only love one person, or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right. And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You start thinking about, well, damn, I did this. So, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men, because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told, don't do that.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we even thought, why doesn't my father is that a protection for me?
Right.
Or is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time they are, like, absolutely. So if we don't understand that, all we know is the rejection.
You see, like, what I understand with my father,
men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male, from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's getting the welfare, or she's out there in the workforce, forced to take care of herself, and if she have children, to take care of the children alone. Whether he's in jail, whether he's dead, whether he's bisexual, whether he's gay, whatever. The black male was removed from the home, and black woman was forced to provide for the children, for herself.
You're missing one other thing that removes black male from the home. That's white women. Because after a while, it was run on black men, white women. Yeah, white women. At one point, black men, they just had to have a white woman. No matter what their social economical status was, white women was the way to go. And so that pulled a lot of black men out of the house.
Damn, I sure missed that. I mean, I know Rick James, I know, you did it. I just didn't think of that as a major absence of the black man. So
being a provider means so many things.
Right.
It means put you in a house. It means I got your back. It means we're doing this together. It means I'm not gonna walk away when things get hard. That's providing, right? I'm gonna provide emotional protection so that you can,